assist people who would not or legally could not otherwise become citizens of the United States.
Blanche says the investigation continues. Here we go again. The Powerball jackpot has ballooned to $1 billion. No one has matched all winning numbers after weeks of drawings. It marks the lottery's largest grand prize ever. And that has many people wishing that they will win and dreaming about how they could spend all that money. ABC's Rena Roy has more on the possibilities.
The lump sum payout of that huge jackpot is $433 million. That could buy more than 118 million grande cups of Starbucks coffee or nearly 394,000 new iPhones. Or you could invest in 36 million packs of Pokemon cards. Of course, you'd have to pay taxes first. And a reminder, your odds of winning the big jackpot are just 1 in more than 292 million. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Major hoops news. Multiple sources tell ESPN the Los Angeles Lakers are being sold to American businessmen Josh Kushner and Bob Iger for a record-breaking $12.5 billion. Michelle.
In a recent survey of 123,000 wireless customers, Pure Talk was the only wireless company to receive 5 stars in every category: coverage, support, value, and data. What else do you need to know? Switch to Pure Talk today and get any plan, including their top-shelf unlimited data plan, for just $15 a month for your first 3 months. No contract, no commitment. Dial pound 250, say micro, and let Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team help you make the switch.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Two different things here. If you're going on vacation with a bunch of adults and you want to have those evenings where you're at the shore house, have a little fire pit or whatever. But if you're just taking your kids for like a 4-day, 3-night vacation to insert whatever beach town, aren't you supposed to be out at the beach or at the pool or on the boardwalk most of the day? Whatever happened to just finding something that's affordable, you're going to maybe take a nap at, you're going to sleep at, and you're going to go in and get a shower? Like, why are you spending 10 grand on something that you're going to spend like 5% of your vacation time in? It seems like a poor investment.
Have you ever been to the Jersey Shore?
He clearly has.
Yeah.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
What if being in recovery from a mental or substance use disorder was something we proudly showed the world? Millions of people are in recovery, sharing hope and support with family, friends, and community. Join the Voices for Recovery. For confidential information for mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
When you want the best that there is, when you want the best in the entire biz, there's a name the stations call you sure to like. It's America's host, and his name is Mike. Stunt brain, that is. You've heard him before, and you'll hear him again. Everyone loves him when he hosts on 1210.
Wednesday, how are you? You look great. You really do. You really look great. I'm happy to be here. Thrilled to be here once again with you on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Were you busy watching the eclipse on television? It always amazes me that people will watch something on TV. I know you can't be in Spain to see it, but really, are you getting the same experience? Unless you were maybe in a theater with the IMAX doing a live carriage and you have the immersive sound experience, maybe I would spend time watching it. But the CNN's obsession with it, any of the other media outlets' obsession with giving us the live eclipse from Leon, Spain, waste of time. Just give me one picture. Give me one good picture, and then show me all the bobos that are out there watching it. Am I wrong on that, DeSantis? Are you somebody who said, I'm gladly going to watch the eclipse. I'm going to watch the moon pass in front of the sun because this never happens. It's never happened before. It won't ever happen. Oh, wait, it has happened before.
I
I watched it on X, but the only reason I saw it on X, I didn't seek it out. I was just skimming through looking for interesting clips, and I saw it. Otherwise, I didn't like build my day around it.
Yeah, I'm dipping in and out, and I have friends who are all obsessed with the convergence. You know what I'm talking about when I say convergence? It's not virgins, it's the convergence. Are you familiar with the 6-planetary lineup that happened as well?
Oh, was that today?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
That wasn't even on my radar. I had no idea.
You've gone up like 2 steps in the estimation ladder here because
I'm glad my ignorance is.
No, you weren't aware of the convergence, and the eclipse was just a passing thing. It's like, wow, this probably is in the trending file on the side of your X screen. Yes, eclipse. Click here. You'll see what's there. And I think Clarissa Ward, is that her name? On CNN, she's the one who was sent to cover it in Spain. She's the one who got the primo gig to fly to Spain and cover it. I'm not sure they're going to send her again. And you haven't seen the video of her dancing at the airport yesterday?
Oh, I saw it. I think Rapid Response 47 posted it or reposted it. It is bizarre.
Yeah, I posted it, reposted it this morning as well because I thought somebody in the CNN head office is going, okay, she's not ever getting a plum assignment again because this is not a journalist. Clarissa Ward dancing and bumping some old disco song, and she's in not quite booty shorts, but this is a grown-up journalist, using air quotes with my fingers. And she's dancing in the airport, and and then now she's covering today. So I'm sure CNN's very proud of her. Anyway, welcome to Wednesday. So much to get to today. We will get through my analysis, my take on the primaries yesterday. And I want to know what you think. 855-839-1210. 855-839-1210. I kind of feel like the establishment of the Democrat Party knew where this was going. And I think specifically in the case of Wisconsin, I think they set this up to happen the way it did. And the prediction markets told us that it was going to be hung, and then she got hung out to dry. See what I did there? And ended up losing by just a handful of votes. And the guy who quit the race a few weeks ago and then was convinced to, hey, come on back in. You really shouldn't quit this race. There's still a chance. Never mind the prediction markets are saying you're going to lose it by 30. And then Crowley comes back, and golly bob howdy, he wins by less than half a point. And I haven't checked in the last few minutes here. Has Hong filed for a recount? Because it was 0.4 of a point. It was literally just a few thousand votes that separated them. Has there been a call for a recount of any of the votes yet, Matt?
Not that I've seen, but obviously a candidate can request a recount if they're trailing by less than 1% of the total votes. So I would assume she's going to ask for one.
She's already conceded. So I don't think I think she knew this was happening. I got a feeling she understood this. Now I look back at, remember when we first heard that she said she hated Thanksgiving? And the clip was out there. And then 2 days later, she was kind of goofy and smiling and saying how much she loved Thanksgiving.
It was her favorite.
Yeah, her favorite holiday ever. It seems to me like maybe, just maybe, we were snookered on this one. That this was a massive distraction to get everybody to think, oh no, the Democrat socialists have taken over the Democrat Party. And what happens? You elect. Because we as Republicans were all hoping and praying that Francesca Hong would be the nominee for the Democrats in Michigan. She campaigned with Hassan Piker. He campaigned with her. You had Bernie and AOC wouldn't endorse her. They liked her policies. And she loses by this much, little teeny tiny mom. And doesn't think anything suspicious about it. And then the sticks, right? The USB sticks. That story breaks overnight. that somebody says, well, hold on a second. We use USB sticks on the back of these voting machines, and there's a bunch of them that we took them, but we didn't count the right thing. We posted the audit report, not the actual votes. And I'm thinking, oh, God, they're going to flip this, aren't they? The Democrats are the people who are always talking about we have to save our democracy, but they're the ones who are manipulating it based on everything I've seen. You go back to the way Bernie Sanders was screwed, literally screwed in 2016 by the Clintons. The way that Debbie What's-Her-Name Schultz out of Florida was involved in making sure that Bernie Sanders did not get the nomination. They changed the rules to screw Bernie in 2016. Bernie ends up suddenly getting a good deal, and he ends up now with a beach house or a lake house in Vermont, his third house. He's now in the millionaire class. Funny, he didn't grouse about that. And then in 2020, he gets shivved again when the Obama-led coalition forced all the other candidates out, and then Clyburn endorses, but just before the South Carolina primary, Clyburn endorses Biden, and Biden gets the nomination. Bernie got screwed again. And then you go to 2024. And what happened in 2024? The Democrats end up with a candidate who got 0 votes from any regular voter in order to be their candidate. I'm beginning to think that these people don't believe in free and fair elections. Maybe I'm just too jaded, but that's 3 national elections in a row where it sure feels like the Democrats weren't playing fair and screwing their own people, getting put into place the person or candidate that they wanted in the spot. And I do believe there may be a quote from Jen Snarky. Some people say her name is Jen Psaki. I like to call her Jen Snarky. Do we have that one, Matt, from MS-13 now when she was talking?
I'm actually loading it right now. We'll have it in like 2 seconds.
Okay. Yeah. And, Matthew just sent me a text reminding me they've also reconfigured the 2028 primary schedule. The Democrat Party has constantly changed the calendar. Now, both parties jerry-rig the calendar in order to, they hope, build the correct momentum around their candidate. But there's also money. There's a whole lot of money tied to when primaries happen. Because if a primary is scheduled in a certain state and it's the first primary, that state will get all kinds of money spent in advertising. So the calendar is actually worth money to the individual states, and they're power bases. And because of what Clyburn did with Biden, South Carolina, or as I like to call it, South Kakalaki, is where they now have the Democrats' first primary. And that will mean a ton of money in advertising, in candidates coming to the state. You don't want your state primary to be one of the last ones, because that means it just won't matter. Voter turnout won't be that high unless there's a huge local interest, which generally there doesn't seem to be all that much interest in primaries. You want to be significant. I don't know why they can't do all the primaries on one day, just the same way that we do election day. I'm sorry, election month. It would be a great thing to have all of the primaries on one day. We do have whatever's called Super Tuesday, where you have a preponderance of primaries happening where you can see a chunk. But I think it would be a great benefit to the voters, and it would take away this financial incentive of the states to try and get ahead of one another. Just interesting. But I talked about how the Democrats rig elections, primaries and general elections, and they select the candidates. There is a council that will select the candidates. Jen Snarky seems to admit to that right here.
It is really, and I want to bring Liz Smith into this conversation because Liz and I grew up in Democratic politics. We're still young, of course, but we grew up in Democratic politics together, and I think we both remember well when party leadership really selected the nominees. Now, you would never say it that way exactly, but they would.
But you can now.
Now we can. We're free. They really did because they would put money behind it. They would endorse. And now it looks very much like party leaders are not picking the nominees. In fact, party leaders pushing nominees is a negative. It is a negative in many of these races.
Is it a negative in many of these races? I just think she admitted the quiet part out loud there, that the machine has been selecting candidates in the Democrat Party for quite some time. And maybe the influx of the Democrat Socialists upset that apple cart for just a little bit, and they, the party elders, found a way to get control of things in Wisconsin. They didn't get it in Michigan. We still have Abdul Rahman El Sayed, who's out there. We've got some new stuff from him today, too. We will get into that. I just find it fascinating that the party that's constantly telling us that democracy is at risk is the party that has, for the past three elections, 16, 20, and 24, the past three presidential national elections, was messing with the selection of the actual candidate. It is unbelievable to me. And now maybe it's trickled down to some of the internals. But we will discuss ad nauseum today. We will get into that. We're also going to talk some more about the outrage. The outrage from the media about Donald Trump listening to Secret Service and changing planes and going through the James Bond-like shift from one plane to another by using the obfuscation of the meal cart. The truck that was delivering the food, and then he was squirreled away in that and taken to another jet. The other part of that I didn't know about yesterday was after the president flew back home from Turkey, and then landed at Joint Base Anderson, D.C., that jet, that secret jet that he flew on with a couple other members of the administration, waited on the tarmac until Air Force One arrived, and they did the same okey doke. They pulled the same stunt where Trump got back into the box, and they rolled the meal box back over to Air Force One, and he got on the plane and exited the plane, and they didn't tell the media, and that's what the media is ticked off about, which is really mondo bizarro, but amazing to me. So I reached out to our friend. I think he's been on with us before, not that long ago, actually, Rich Kolko, who is a brilliant guy. Rich is my go-to when I need help on this kind of matter, this kind of security detail. He's a security analyst, former Navy pilot, retired FBI agent. We're going to talk to Rich about that, and we are also going to talk about the rumor, and I didn't ask you guys to get a picture of her, but Matt and I think Justin, you've seen this too. The Melania lookalike that was spotted on Air Force One. Did you see the story?
I did.
Now, I'm old enough to remember when Saddam Hussein was in our crosshairs that there were reports that there were like 30 Saddam Hussein lookalikes that were put all over Iraq, and that, you know, it looked like he was hiding everywhere. It was freaking Where's Waldo with Saddam Hussein. It even turned out to be a Seinfeld episode storyline as well. They had a guy that looked like Saddam Hussein. It was pretty funny. But the idea of a Melania Trump lookalike is interesting to me because we have seen reports, credible reports, that the Iranians and their proxies would like to kill the president and his family. And so maybe that's why we're using a Melania lookalike. Is there Is there a lookalike of young Barron? I don't know how many. He's got to be close to 7 feet tall at this point. I don't know how many guys that tall they're going to find. But this is interesting. So we're going to pick Richard Kolko's brain about this and see if we can get some details from him on this. We'll have a little fun with Rich. He's a good dude. And I want to ask him how often security analysts like him come up with these plans to hide somebody and move them around. I don't know if you've ever been under the any of the tunnels in New York City, other than the subway tunnels, Matthew. Are you aware of the network of tunnels as well?
I was unaware of that, but I don't think I'd want to go in. They sound creepy to me. Tunnels I want to avoid.
I absolutely want to go in those tunnels.
I'm out.
There are secret tunnel systems. As a matter of fact, during the Roosevelt administration, FDR, not Teddy, there was a train, a locomotive that was underneath one of the great hotels on the east side of Manhattan that has a rail system that was cut and goes all the way under Manhattan to New Jersey. And that train was kept there for decades because whoever was staying in the presidential suite in this fabulous hotel was then told that if we need to get you out, you're going to go down to the basement, you're going to get on that train, and we're going to take you out of here. And you just got to wonder, how much money did we spend over all those decades keeping that locomotive working? Because that thing, you got to hear about it. I lived in New York for 23 years. And you got to know, we crawled around some pretty interesting places. But this, I just want to know how much of that stuff still exists. We know after September 11th, Daryl Hammond told me this story. I used to waste a little time with Daryl Hammond late at night in some of the comedy clubs. Daryl Hammond told the story of getting a phone call to come and do Bill Clinton as a comedy routine for all the members of Congress who were holed up. Remember, we had the Congress had been swept out of D.C. and they were being kept in a secret location. I'm sure you recall that. Not a shadow government, but they were in hiding. And they brought these guys into an underground bunker where they lived and worked for several, I think it was a few weeks. Well, Daryl Hammond said he was flown to D.C. He got out of the airport, got into a car with blacked out windows, and they drove for about 40 minutes. And then he said he remembers they didn't see daylight anymore. They went underground for about 3 to 4 minutes of driving underground. And they got up out of the car, and they were in this complex where all these guys were. And he did a show for them doing his Clinton impression and doing all kinds of comedy. Just astounding stuff. So we have a network of this stuff. I got to pick Rich Kolko's brain on this and find out how much more of this exists and how can we see it. All right, before we get out of here, I got to play the Clarissa Ward thing since we opened talking about the eclipse. This is the woman that CNN gave the plum assignment of traveling from New York to Spain to cover the eclipse, and this is how she was acting in public as she was traveling, y'all. Yeah, well, we're going to get into some of the inner workings of security and secreting people around when we talk to our friend Rich Kolko just around the corner. It's Opelka, and it's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
There's a reason that potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only about 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get about 2/3 of it, and the rest goes to Uncle Sam. Jim Cipriotti at the Retire Ready Financial Group can help. His tax mapping process can help forecast what your tax bill will be in the future, and that way you can build a strategy now to potentially decrease your tax bill in retirement. In other words, more for you and less for Uncle Sam. Call today for your complimentary retirement tax mapping report, 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415. Or find them online at retirereadyfg.com and get Uncle Sam's greedy hands out of your retirement.
Hey, you've had enough.
With a complimentary tax mapping report from Jim Cipriotti. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
Today, we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments. But what about those captured before the smartphone? What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not, there's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together, we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission: to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch and faded photos. Legacy Box transforms them into digital treasures, ready to share with a click.
Just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/radio. That's legacybox.com/radio.
Lemonade! Fresh squeezed lemonade! Lemonade? Oh, nuts.
Is your business struggling to be seen? Not reaching the right customers?
Yeah.
Odyssey's here to help. Your one-stop shop for digital marketing.
Wait, really?
With targeted digital media, plus SEO, SEM, social, OTT, and more, we help your business reach the right audience and drive results.
Whoa, hey, one at a time.
Stop missing out on valuable customers. Visit digitallocalads.com to learn more about our local advertising solutions. That's digitallocalads.com.
Okay, people, line starts here.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Dollar General.
General Motors is getting ready to eject Google's Gemini AI assistant from its vehicles in favor of a homegrown AI system. GM says that its GM AI assistant will function better than Gemini AI in its vehicles, combining conversational AI with GM vehicle data and OnStar intelligence. GM says that its AI assistant will better understand the vehicle and make everyday ownership easier. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Back to school season is here, and Dollar General has everything you need to start the school year strong. Don't forget to grab a pair of bright yellow sunglasses from the Yellow Glasses Project for just $2. Every purchase makes a difference, with 100% of proceeds helping support teachers, classrooms, and nonprofit organizations working to improve reading and literacy skills across the country. Stop by Dollar General today and shine bright with the Yellow Glasses Project, available now at Dollar General. The Yellow Glasses Project is a program of the Dollar General Literacy Foundation.
Tune in to the Crash Proof Retirement Show Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Joanne Small-Canella and Tracy Stillman. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Weather is sponsored by Ashley Furniture.
No rain in the forecast this evening. Overnight, it'll still be pretty warm, down to 72. Tomorrow, humid, high 90. Friday, less humidity. Partial sunshine, high 86. Saturday looks really nice, high 86 and low humidity, and no rain in the forecast.
This Saturday, starting at 10 a.m., it's the 12-hour sale event at Ashley. Save up to 70%, plus enjoy free delivery. Plus, we're giving away prizes every hour. Big savings, big giveaways, and one big day to shop. Don't miss the 12-hour sale this Saturday at Ashley.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
It is 3:33 on this Wednesday. Mike Opelka with you on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. And Justin reminded me during the break that we promised you last week we would do that What's the Best James Bond theme. And we talked about it last week. So maybe that's a good Friday idea. So Friday, you got to be here Friday. It's Thursday and Friday and today. Jam-packed shows, but we will deliver amid some of the Friday leftovers that we have to share with you. The survey on what is the best Bond theme of all time. And you could make the case for Goldfinger. You could make the case for Carly Simon and Nobody Does It Better. Or even in DeSantis' mind, Duran Duran, I guess, View to a Kill. But we'll get into that on Friday. But thank you, Justin, for reminding me. Kind of a crazy story that we heard after the president's trip from Turkey, or as the people want us to say now, Turkey, where the president had a credible threat, I guess, against his safety, and his security team, Secret Service, military, thought it wise for him not to be on the new Air Force One or even the backup Air Force One, but on a different plane altogether. And the media heard about it, and some of them were just furious because they were on the plane that was the decoy plane. Well, so were several members of the administration based on very, very credible reports. And I wondered about this because I kind of like the idea that the president was able to pull this off. And including the fact that after he landed back at Joint Base Andrews, the plane, the secret plane, waited on the tarmac. They brought in another food truck. And when Air Force One landed, they simply pulled the okie doke again, and he got off the plane, and nobody knew until the story broke. I needed to know more about this, as well as the story that's bubbling out there that the president's been traveling with a Melania Trump lookalike, wondering how often this kind of thing is used. So I reached out to our friend, security analyst, former Navy pilot, retired FBI agent. I kind of think he's seen a few things. Our friend Richard Kolko is with us today. Welcome back, brother. Thanks for being here.
I'm glad to be here, Mike. And since I won't be here Friday, Carly Simon.
So you're a nobody does it better kind of a guy.
Yeah. I'm putting my vote in early.
I like that. You know, I'm predisposed to liking that because back in the day, this tortured Chicago Bears fan remembers CBS did a montage of Walter Payton great running moments, and they played that music underneath it, and it truly was iconic. So, yeah, I could see that. But we'll put you down for Carly Simon. Nobody does it better. Very good.
Thank you. Okay.
Rich, I have to ask you, when you heard this story, did you think probably not the first time, or that surprises me?
Well, that's a trick question. I think it's probably not the first time, but it may be the first time we've heard about it. Okay, I would not be surprised if stuff like this has happened in the past. We know that the president has traveled before under, the veil of secrecy, and media has been on the plane but sworn to secrecy. We know that, like President Bush went to Afghanistan or Iraq or wherever they were going, and the Air Force One takes off, or a different aircraft takes off with the president and some members of the media. They would actually, I believe, collect their cell phones, and they weren't allowed to make any calls or anything like that until they, I don't even want to say until they landed or until they departed. I can't remember. But yeah, security is always a primary concern and should be.
Well, yeah, you would hope. And the other end of that, Rich, is you would think that the media, especially if you're on the Air Force One as part of that small gaggle of media, that those people would understand how special the trip is, and they wouldn't put it at risk by even thinking about leaking information. But apparently we don't have that trust factor at this point.
No, not without specifically stating it. I mean, and I don't, I understand they're going to, if they think they got a scoop, they're going to, get a scoop. But there's been all kinds of stories of news outlets getting a call saying, show up here tomorrow morning. You can't tell anybody you're going, and they'll play ball because they want to be there. So that's happened in the past. So, yeah.
Well, I've heard that same story, that if you've got a hard pass for the White House, one of the plastic press passes, and not the day pass like I used to get, and you got a phone call that said be at Joint Base Andrews and pack for 2 days, you assumed you were going on a presidential trip, and you just went, okay, I'm in. And that's kind of the wink thing. This one, I loved the subterfuge. I love the fact that the new plane showed up, and then the threat was apparently, and we're hearing now. You may have heard differently, Rich, that some Israeli intelligence went to the U.S. military and said, "Hey, we think you got a problem with the president and this travel, so you might want to get him out in a different plane." Had you heard any of that?
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's real common for the U.S. and Israel to share intelligence, certainly from the region, depending on what technical means they have for overhears or human sources or a variety of means that would bring that into the intelligence chain. So not unusual if it did go in through that channel and shared with the U.S. or came in directly to the U.S. And that's probably not the kind of thing they would go with just single source either. They would probably want to verify that, how credible the threat is. And I commend the Secret Service, Department of Defense, and the others that took these actions. I don't know if they had to do it on the fly or if they had a day or two to plan it out. But as far as these extraordinary steps they took, very successful, and I'm impressed with it.
Yeah, anytime I'm not using any language I know is certain to be used in any way. Anytime the package is delivered safely, that's a good day.
Right, that's that. And yeah, I don't care if you like the president, don't like the president, whatever. The issue is the Secret Service protects whoever's sitting in that office, and they'll take the steps that they need to take to make sure that person is safe. And that's exactly what every American should expect of the Secret Service to do.
And if one wonders, Rich Kolko, if the Secret Service or any of the security protection people with the White House are capable of doing this with the president, moving him halfway around the world, could you see the situation where a former president might be able to travel from his home in Westchester to just about any other location in the nearby area and nobody would know he was visiting a friend?
No, I assume just about any time the president moves, there's enough people that pick up on it, whether it's landing at a small airport or just the movement of the president. But if you're talking former presidents, they can certainly travel a little quieter. I mean, people don't exactly know where they're going or follow where they're going anymore. But for President Trump to do this. Fascinating. We watched that video of him going up the steps on Air Force One, goes behind that curtain, very standard. And then the catering, everybody's gotten on an airplane. You walk in the door of the airplane, and you see on the other side of the airplane that other door is open, and the catering truck's open and delivering food and beverage to the plane. I didn't realize that that's very rare for Air Force One, and they certainly wouldn't do that while the president's going up the stairs. So that's the one little thing I did learn, that part wouldn't happen. So that should have been a tip off to somebody on the plane that something was unusual was going on.
Now, are we all going to be looking now every time we see Air Force One at an airport to see if the catering truck is there while the president's there?
I don't know. I don't know if they can pull off the same thing twice. They'd have to come up with a different plan next time. So, but you think about it. I mean, he went up the stairs behind the curtain, which is standard, and then supposedly directly over to the catering truck and down, and taken over to the other plane, the C-32, which is a 757, which was probably there routinely because there's when the president travels, it's not just the 747. There's other aircraft that go with him for a variety of reasons, a lot of logistics, delivering the car that he might drive in, sometimes even bringing a helicopter, additional security team, folks, etc. And let's remember, this is in Turkey, however you want to say it, but it's bordering Iran while we're at war with Iran. So certainly within a distance of their missiles, their drones. So it was a high-risk trip to begin with, and any threat they thought was going to be credible, they had to take the steps necessary. Now, I'm on both sides of the fence here, Mike, a little bit. I think it's super supportive of what they did with the president to get him off that plane. Then the plane flew to the UK, where it landed, and they put him back on Air Force One, and he came down the stairs. So everybody thought, to carry out the rest of the not gag, but the event, that he had been on the plane the whole time. And then he got on the new Air Force One, the Qatar gift, and flew that one home. So he was on 3 different airplanes there within a matter of hours. So fascinating. As an FBI agent, we're required to do what's called duty to warn. If there's an American citizen who may be in harm's way and the FBI has information, and this probably covers the other entities as well, you can't let American citizens know that there's a threat against them without telling them, if you have the ability. So I believe that there should have been some duty to warn the people on the airplane, what was going on. And I realized I couldn't do it real time. I would have come up with an excuse that said, hey, we're waiting for another 2 hours or 3 hours because the president's going to have meetings with somebody or something, or take some phone calls or something, and wait till the president on the other airplane was safely out of the airspace and on his way to the UK, and then have told those people, hey, this is what happened. The president's not on this plane. He's on another plane because of security reasons, yada, yada, yada. Do you want to be on this plane? And I'm sure all of them would have said, yeah, they wanted to get home. They would have stayed on the plane.
Wow, that's interesting. The duty to warn. I appreciate that you could see both sides of this, Rich Kolko. And that's the kind of honesty that I get from you that I'm very, as I said, very appreciative of. And that also may explain why some members of the media are a little bit ticked off. There's still a few members of the mainstream media. I'm going to play a clip from Lawrence O'Donnell. He's really upset about this. Those who were on the plane and saying, hey, we were told to close our shades before takeoff, and we didn't really understand why. We do now. But they weren't warned. But apparently there were some members of the president's inner circle, like Stephen Miller was on the plane. He didn't get to ride with the president. I think Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, was also on that plane in an effort, I guess, to keep the ruse alive. So those guys knew. They had to know because they knew the president wasn't on the plane. But interesting, the duty to warn. Let me pivot and ask you kind of a related subject. There's an article bubbling today about the president traveling with a Melania look-alike on a couple of occasions. And this was interesting to me because as the Iran war rolls on, we keep hearing the Iranians would like to obviously take out the president, but also would likely want to take out members of his family as well. And I hadn't even thought about the First Lady in a while. Not that I hadn't seen her. It was on my radar. But I remember back when Saddam Hussein was in our crosshairs, and we heard he had lookalikes everywhere in Baghdad. How regular is it for us to have lookalikes of the first family?
Well, that's kind of news to me. I'm not sure that the Secret Service tries to pull that off too often. I know they would do everything they can necessary to protect Melania Trump as well. Not the same level that they would go to protect the president, but his family certainly is protectees. So no doubt there that they would have done that. And the assassination attempts or plans of Iran against President Trump, that goes all the way back to his first term. If you recall, he ordered the assassination of General Soleimani, who was the leader of the Italian Guard, and Iran has said they're going to get Trump since then. And not only that, they've tried. There have been people arrested in the U.S. for trying to carry out some of the plots. So they're not going to give up, and that keeps the Secret Service on their toes. It's just a high-risk environment. I saw a press conference not too long ago, in the last couple of weeks, where a senior Secret Service official said in 2026 they've had to investigate 10,000 threats against President Trump.
Wow.
That sounds like a huge number. It is. I mean, the other presidents have been thousands, but the leap from thousands to 10,000 is, they said, was a big leap. So this is just a crazy, crazy time for everybody involved in that industry of working to keep the president safe.
Yeah, and as many generals have said, we have to be right every time. The bad guys only have to be right once in their 10,000 plans or wishes to go after either the president or a member of his family. It's serious stuff. Anything else on your radar that you're keeping an eye on in terms of security and big news like this, Rich Kolko?
Yeah, security, I think, and if you've seen a little undercurrent of it over the last couple of weeks, I think cyber attacks from Iran have started to bubble up. We've been worried about them for a while. It looks like they've started to attack some of our water systems around the country, the public water that people drink and everything. They've been able to hack into some of those computer systems and shut off water or divert water, and that's problematic that they've been able to get into these systems. I know they tried to get into some hospital record systems, and there's two things: A, they're good at it, unfortunately, and B, it doesn't have to be from Iran. Their proxies can carry that out from anywhere on the planet. So even though Iran, although they are not getting bombed currently, but when they were getting bombed, the cyber attacks could literally come from anywhere in the world, and I can see that getting worse before it gets better.
That's a major concern. I know there were some 10 municipalities that had reported suspicious internet behavior that might have been cyber attacks on the controls of their water systems. There was one before Super Bowl a couple years ago. And I always thought it was going to be the grid, but the water is one of those things that if you could stop people from having water, lives change in a day or two very quickly.
Let's look at Puerto Rico right now. Unrelated to a cyber attack, but they've got some water shortages, and it's bringing the whole island to a standstill. So absolutely. If they can get into banking, if they can get into the internet providers, I mean, just, all kinds of issues can happen if they can successfully get into any specific system and shut it down.
You will never be out of a job, Rich Kolko, as security analyst with all the knowledge you have, with all the bad guys wishing to do bad stuff to us. You will always have a gig, and I appreciate you making time for us to help us understand it, my friend. Should we follow you on Twitter? Where's the best place to keep up with you? I
do some Instagram, Richard Kolko TV. But that's about it. I need to get better at that. That's on my to-do list now that I'm doing more of this on various networks and such. So yeah.
Well, we're happy to help.
I'll give you an update next time when I tell you what I'm trying to do with social media.
Very good, very good. Rich Kolko, thank you always, and we appreciate your service to the country as well, my friend.
All right, stay healthy.
And there he goes. Interesting information when you think about it. I was trying to make a Clinton joke, DeSantis, when I talked about a former president wanting to sneak out of the house in Westchester. He didn't pick up on it, I guess.
I caught what you were putting down.
Thank you. I'm sure somebody in the audience did, too. I'm starting to see some nominations for the best Bond theme, but we're going to do that on Friday. So table that. And DeSantis, I sent you the picture of Trump apparently hiding in the truck. Were you able to get that, or we'll show it when we get back?
Yeah, we'll show it when we get back.
Okay,
we kind of need to go to break.
Okay, sorry. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll do a very short break. We'll show you Donald Trump hiding inside the food cart. Yes, it's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Back to school season is here, and Dollar General has everything you need to start the school year strong. Don't forget to grab a pair of bright yellow sunglasses from the Yellow Glasses Project for just $2. Every purchase makes a difference, with 100% of proceeds helping support teachers, classrooms, and nonprofit organizations working to improve reading and literacy skills across the country. Stop by Dollar General today and shine bright with the Yellow Glasses Project, available now at Dollar General. The Yellow Glasses Project is a program of the Dollar General Literacy Foundation.
You can now tune in to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
It is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Correct me if I'm wrong, and the people on the YouTube channel, I'm sorry, I'm referencing the music we're playing as we rejoin, but there are a lot of people listening on the radio. How many pop songs had yodeling in them? Hit songs. Because that song has yodeling in it. I'm just wondering. We need Phil Almquist on the case here. Mr. H here with his great show on Saturday nights, which, by the way, Phil's show 11 to 1 from Saturday into Sunday morning, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. And then there's a brand new show that has kind of trickled into our consciousness. Three outraged taxpayers? What's the correct name?
Well, we're going with three disgruntled taxpayers right now, but outrage sounds pretty good, and we're not committed to the name. So if anyone has a suggestion, we'll take it.
I like three disgruntled taxpayers, and then you could have your outrage of the week, and maybe you could have a little meltdown that you would play. That's very good. That's excellent. And second week was this week, or is this the third week?
This will be the third week. This Saturday will be our third episode. Hopefully we'll hit our stride. I thought the first two episodes were all right.
And the people can find it if they choose to go on our YouTube channel.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to find, but if you work really hard, you can hunt it down. So it's not on Spotify or iTunes yet.
Really?
That's a Odyssey engineering issue. We are on the WPHT webpage, but you have to click the link on podcasts, and then from podcasts go to weekend. And we're kind of like mixed in with a few other shows.
Because we don't have our own podcast page yet, thanks again to Odyssey Engineering.
We love Odyssey Engineering, and I'm sure they'll fix this at any moment.
You could catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar, fellas. Just saying, don't be tinkling on the engineering department.
We love them. We love them. We think they're great.
And they're listening, always. There's always a monitor back in that room with all the wires and screwdrivers in it. It's always on, and they hear everything we do, so...
I complain so much. I think they have like a Matt DeSantis voodoo doll that they're constantly torturing back there.
Do you have unusual pains that crop up at certain times?
My side hurts, yeah.
And it's not just Zioli stabbing you, which I'm sure continues to this day, which would be great. Oh, my God. We have so much we have to get to today. And I mentioned this while we were talking to Rich Kolko. Rich and I were just going back because he goes, "What? You got to send me the picture. Send me the picture." So I sent him the picture. There's a brand new meme that's out there that shows President Trump hiding in the food truck on the airplane. You got to post that if you guys could put that up on the YouTube channel.
I think Justin's loading it right now.
There was just some breaking news from the president that White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt will leave her role at the end of the month to spend more time with her children and family.
Wow. And this is big news because a lot of people were saying they didn't think she was going to come back after having the baby. But maybe she just got tired of all the Bravo Sierra of being the press secretary. She's very good at what she does for being as young as she is. And I know there are a lot of people who were questioning the age difference between Caroline Leavitt and her husband, because she's in her 20s and I think he is in his 60s. So you do the math. How many times does 60 go into 20? It's a very different problem. It's not the math problem. departing her role at the end of the month where she can spend more time with her children and family. Okay, so there's a job open. Maybe that's DeSantis? Are you listening? Boy, he'd be a good press secretary.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'd be terrible.
Come on now. I'd love to see you up there.
I know. Yeah, for your own selfish reasons. Wow.
That's true. Look at him. He's sweating. He's 30 seconds into the briefing, and he's sweating like a whore in church. Look at that.
It'd get you plenty of content, but for all the wrong reasons.
But listen, we'd have an in at the White House. You know, I'd have a hard pass and not a paper pass going forward. We'll get the breaking news. We'll also show you the picture of Trump. And I have to play this. This Lawrence O'Donnell meltdown is just crazy. It's Mike Opelka. It's Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
The Bloomberg Market Minute, sponsored by Piazza Auto Group. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Some positivity for stocks today. That's as investors look at that report earlier today showing somewhat tame inflation. A piece of tantalizing news for the home of the Baconator. Financial Times says Tryon Fund Management, controlled by activist investor Nelson Pelz, preparing for a bid to buy out Wendy's, take it private. A weight loss drug that's shown strong promise in trials, fueling a large and growing black market. Now Eli Lilly, hoping to get that drug approved, it's escalating the fight against black markets. It's fighting lawsuits against U.S. businesses that sell retatrutide illegally. And no word on whether it'll get a new mascot benefiting the happiest place on earth. But the L.A. Lakers looks like they'll be co-owned by the former head of Disney, Bob Iger, and venture capitalist Josh Kushner, brother of President Trump's son-in-law, Jared, are buying the Lakers for more than $12 billion. Before the move, Iger and Kushner had been part of a push for an NBA expansion team in Vegas. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Hey, Dawn Sensland here. While the sun's out and the summer's in full swing, Kitchen Magic wants to help you fall back in love with your kitchen. They're a family-owned business right in Nazareth, PA since 1979, and for over 45 years, promising high quality and craftsmanship. This summer only, 40% off installation with flexible financing options for every budget. Don't wait for someday. Visit kitchenmagic.com and build something beautiful together. Kitchenmagic.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
You don't need another opinion, just the facts.
What caused that crash on the Schuylkill? Will it rain before the kids' game? What happened at the school board meeting last night?
At KYW News Radio, we don't take sides. We take notes, delivering the information you need to make the best decisions for your family.
The news you need whenever you need it.
Depend on KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news leader for more than 60 years.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to install a mailbox. Let's go. But there's one critical step before digging. Wait, what? Call 811 to have utility companies mark their underground lines. Failure to do so will result in catastrophic gas line damage. This message will not self-destruct, but your yard might if you don't contact 811 before you dig. Visit pa1call.org.
Maybe I should have listened to the home message first.
Every year, millions of Americans use opioids to manage pain. Pain can be unrelenting, overwhelming, and all-consuming. So why do so many of us try to manage pain only from the palm of our hands? Doctor-prescribed opioids are appropriate in some cases, but they just mask the pain. And reliance on opioids has led to the worst drug crisis in American history. That's why the CDC recommends safer alternatives, like physical therapy, to manage pain. Physical therapists treat pain through movement, hands-on care, and patient education. No warning labels required. And by increasing physical activity, you can also reduce your risk of other chronic diseases. Pain is personal, but treating pain takes teamwork. When it comes to your health, you have a choice. Choose more movement and better health. Choose physical therapy. Visit moveforwardpt.com to find a physical therapist in your area. This message is brought to you by the American Physical Therapy Association.
Prioritize yourself and make your dream of an attractive, healthy smile a reality at PI Dental Center. The professionals at PI Dental have been transforming patients' smiles for over 38 years. Board-certified specialists, Dr. Glenn Wolfinger and Dr. Robert Slough, perform complex dental makeovers with their Teeth in a Day protocol, where dental implants are placed and restored with fixed teeth in just one day. It's time to invest in yourself. For a smile that's monumental, trust PI Dental. Visit pidentalcenter.com.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. How many times are you going to listen to my voice before you finally go to investorschooling.com? I can't believe you haven't signed up for a class yet. You're going to learn real estate investing. You're going to learn stock options trading. You're going to learn things about money that you didn't even know existed. Go to investorschooling.com right now. Oh my goodness. This Thursday, investorschooling.com, and take that free class. See you there.
Craving real barbecue? Head to Henry's Hots Barbecue in Folsom, New Jersey. Voted Best of South Jersey Barbecue for 14 years. Open Friday through Sunday from noon till 7. Featuring St. Louis-style ribs, beef brisket, burgers, and an all-you-can-eat buffet every Sunday. Dine inside, relax outside, grab takeout, or let Henry's Hots cater your next event with full-service catering. Find them at 1003 Black Horse Pike in Folsom or visit bestbbqsj.com. Henry's Hots Barbecue. Real Texas-style barbecue done right.
If there was ever a time to live united, it is now. Now is the time to speak with one voice, to build up, not tear down. It's time to join hands and live united against the problems that keep our communities from thriving. United Way fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in every community. Will you? Volunteer or donate now at unitedway.org.
WPHT, WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. Lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
He's the voice that cuts right through. Truth is hard, wild and true. Turn it up, feel that sound. Mike Opelka's in your town. Mike Opelka on WPHT. Rockin' Philly talk loud and free. Keep it locked, don't touch that dial. WPHT. Mike Opelka style.
And here we are, second hour, Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, Opelka, back in your face. I didn't even check it. I watched briefly last night the Phillies playing the Cardinals. Did that turn out well? Because it was 0-0 when I was swinging through the cable last night. Anybody? Justin, you were probably watching it.
No, and it's not going well right now. Phil's down 5-1 in the top of the 7th.
I'm sorry. I did see that Nick Hale was mystified by the lack of attendance at the St. Louis Cardinals stadium. It's in a bad neighborhood, in my opinion. And if somebody's from St. Louis, I'm sorry. It's not a great place. Yes, you could see the Gateway Arch, but it's kind of a rough part of the world. I was busy watching last night from Chicago. It was a Pope Hat night in the Chicago White Sox Bankrate Stadium. And I was meant to be there last night. I think I mentioned it yesterday. Pope Hat night. The Pope is a fan of the Chicago White Sox. And his family comes from the south side of Chicago, not far from where I was born. And so I feel kind of a kinship to this Pope. I'm a Catholic, and our high school used to play against his high school in football. And his brother's a Trump fan. But the Chicago White Sox decided to do a tribute to the Pope, and they said, okay, we're gonna print 3,000 little fake Pope miters. That's what they call the hat. And if you buy seats in this one or two sections, we're going to give everybody in that seat a Pope miter. Well, they sold out in minutes, and I actually bought 3 tickets. My brothers and I were going to go. And then the White Sox said, this is so popular, we're going to make 40,000. So last night there were 40,000. The stadium was full. I think it holds 38, just under 40. And everybody had the Pope hat on at the game. But here's the coolest thing they did. In the fifth inning, between the top and the bottom of the fifth inning, they brought out a bishop. In the stands, they mic'd the guy. And you know how at church, if you're not Catholic, I apologize. I think a lot of Christian faiths do this. They do the sign of peace where you turn to your neighbor and you say, hey, peace be with you. Hey, glad to see you. Yeah, especially if it's a stranger. They did that at the game last night. And in case you missed it, if you're watching on the YouTube channel and you didn't see this, you have to see this. Go ahead, roll that thing.
We offer each other a sign of peace because we want to bring peace to the world. And I think the Pope would really love that, whether you're Catholic or not. So everybody should stand and find a new friend around you and offer each other the sign of peace.
Look at all the people shaking hands. And they're all wearing their miters, their Pope hats. And the organist, the legendary organist, Nancy Faust, is playing the song from Lilies of the Field. Amen, amen, amen. I think that's kind of a cool thing. Look, I love the seventh inning stretch, and when people sing God Bless America, why can't we have a moment of peace in the ball games? Is that too much to ask? How do you think that would go in Philadelphia?
The Eagles losing on a Sunday, yeah.
I'm just saying, if we did this between the top and the bottom of the fifth inning here in Philly, can you imagine telling everybody to get up and shake hands with the person next to you and say, hey, how you doing?
After watching an Alec Boehm double play with runners in scoring position again.
You think it would be a mess? Is that what you're saying, Justin?
There may or may not be batteries involved.
Yeah. So anyway, my sister and her husband and their daughter went to the game last night, and my brother-in-law is an insufferable Milwaukee Brewers fan, so he refused to wear the jersey because if you bought the original 3,000 tickets, the Chicago White Sox made a special Pope jersey. And he got me one. So I'm going to be wearing it on the golf course. I'll be wearing my Pope miter on the golf course. Maybe not this weekend, but next weekend. Depends on how quickly he gets his butt to the post office. I just thought that kind of thinking to bring fun back to the ballpark, it's kind of like what the Savannah Bananas have been able to do with minor league ball or just making baseball a little less serious and a little more fun. But winning also does that, too, so good luck to the Phillies. Before we went away, we were wrapping up talking to Rich Kolko about President Trump and his adventure, his James Bond adventure, sneaking across one plane to another to get out of Turkey the other day. And a friend of mine sent me this meme of Donald Trump inside the food cart that was used to sneak him across. If you haven't seen it, you should be on the YouTube page right now. It's pretty damn good. I laughed out loud. There's Trump in the food cart. Looks just like the one they use on the plane. And whoever did this gets major kudos because they didn't overdo it. And they added the Sky Chef logo from the company that makes the meals on the plane. Very nicely done. You see that on the Tupperware, the Sky Chef logo. Really good stuff. Very good stuff. As I said, we have a ton of things to get to today. Yesterday's primary news, it's probably been beaten to death that the crazy socialist Francesca Hong, lost by a teeny tiny margin. And I think the Democrats breathed a sigh of relief, and conservatives and Republicans like myself were like, wait a minute, we wanted to face off with the nutty lady. It's going to be harder to beat this David Crowley guy because he lives in I think he lives in Milwaukee. He lives in the densest populated area in Wisconsin, and he also would be the first black governor of the state of Wisconsin. And you know how people like to vote for they voted that way for Obama. There are a whole bunch of people who voted that way because of Obama. So I think the GOP would have been much better served had the nut job won the primary. And it was so close when the prediction markets were so far off. It's really frustrating. Then the other one that's kind of interesting, Peggy Flanagan, the lieutenant governor of the state of Minnesota, is running to be the governor in the state of Minnesota. And she's probably going to have a pretty easy time of it, because if you look at the numbers, if you just look at the numbers of voters in the Republican primary versus the number of voters in the Democrat primary, the Democrats already have the critical mass needed to win this election. So I would not expect a Republican win in the state of Minnesota. You know, you're replacing Tampon Tim, but you're going to replace him with somebody who's very sympathetic and very supportive of the Muslim community, very supportive of the Somali community. This is Peggy Flanagan last night in her victory speech. Cut to, please.
And passing Medicare for all because we are going to make health care available and affordable once and for all.
And how are you going to do that? You're going to tax the bejesus out of everybody. Right. She's terrible. She's so awful that Walz's wife couldn't endorse her. And remember Walz's wife, she's the one who wanted to turn the page. Turn the page. She was a nut job, too. And true to form, my prediction yesterday on the MyPillow guy, yeah, he lost. And DeSantis, if you checked, when we were getting ready to get on the air, MyPillow Mike was not conceding the election, that he lost soundly. Has he decided that he lost yet?
I haven't seen, but he lost. He definitely lost. Let's check.
Yeah, well, he lost, but he had not made a concession speech yet.
It doesn't. It doesn't look like. Last I saw, it says he hasn't conceded yet.
That guy.
He says there's some voting irregularities.
Yeah. So again, with the voting irregularities, we've heard this song before. There's a guy with too much money and nobody willing to tell him the truth. His friends are not really his friends because they're not willing to tell him the truth. You're not going to get elected, Mikey. You keep selling pillows and use your money to support people who know what they're doing. You're a little bit too fringy, I think. I appreciate his faith. I appreciate he overcame addiction, but he needs people who are going to tell him the truth. He needs a Riccioli political consultant to tell him the truth on this. And then there is, following up on Peggy Flanagan and her latching onto Medicare for all. I kind of feel like for the next, 75 days, whatever it is, until the midterm elections, that's all we're really going to hear from the left is that Medicare for all, Medicare for all, Medicare for all, and maybe affordability, although the inflation numbers were down. We had really good inflation report today. Some of that had to do with the price of lettuce going down 16% in the last 30 days because nobody wants to eat the lettuce and get the explosive diarrhea. But the inflation numbers were pretty darn good today. But the Democrats will wait with the affordability issue, but they're going to push Medicare for all, Medicare for all, Medicare for all, including Abdul Rahman El Said, who really is pushing the socialist government-run healthcare scam. Cut 3, please.
Healthcare should be a choice made by a patient and their doctor. If that patient is under the age of 18, the parents as well, right? And I believe that Medicare for all should cover all healthcare.
Yeah.
Which is defined by what a patient needs in accordance with their doctor. So that includes reproductive rights, right? That includes gender-affirming care.
Gender-affirming care. Well, less than an hour from now, we're going to have our friend Gerald Posner join us. Gerald, a journalist, author, and personal friend of mine for the past 35 years. Gerald has written extensively on the $5 billion plus industry that was mutilating the genitals of children. That was one of the great shames of America over the past decade. And anybody who supported it, I believe, deserves to be in prison for what they did to kids. The tide is turning now. Europe got there first. The Europeans were the first to say, hey, you know this gender thing we were doing to kids? Probably a really bad idea. If adults want to do it, well, we'll let them do it. We shouldn't have to pay for it, but we'll let them do it. And then I think I have this here. I have to find this headline. This was the most ridiculous headline of the weekend. I didn't send it to you, DeSantis. I'm really sorry I didn't, but I have to read it to you. I'm okay if you're an adult and you want to have the pickle chopped off, whatever you want to do. If you're an adult, but I don't want to pay for it. And it infuriates me more when we see people who are incarcerated, who are forcing the government to pay for this kind of surgery. The headline out of Minnesota reads, "Convicted male murderer gets bottom surgery while housed in Minnesota women's prison." Wait, what? So this dude, pretending to be a woman, I'm seriously questioning his mental health, has now gotten bottom surgery, which means that he got the schmengi removed and maybe got the installation of a constantly open wound, I think is the nicest way I can say it, while in a women's prison in Minnesota, which means the taxpayers of Minnesota paid for this. This is madness. The gender madness thing, I thought we had fixed it. I thought we had actually gotten somewhere. Yesterday, President Trump said that Medicare's not going to do this anymore. Medicare's not going to pay for this anymore. We're not doing this. We're stopping, and especially on the children. So we'll talk to Gerald Posner about that. The other side of I think the gas has run out of the madness of the Democrat socialists with some of their influencers. And the number one influencer with the Democrat socialists is this guy Piker, who I think he came out of nowhere. Somebody said, no, he's been around for a while. Well, he must have been because he's accumulated so many hundreds of thousands of followers. And he's also generated wealth, probably because mommy and daddy took care of him for a while. But he now has a $2.7 million home in West Hollywood, which you would think if a conservative showed up and started saying, I really am interested in straightening out wealth inequality in this country, and somebody said, but you own a $2.7 million house, if that person were genuine, Republican or Democrat, they would say, you know what, you're right. I'm going to sell my home and I'm going to live in a modest home and be an example. Not Hassan Piker. No, he wants to know, he wants you to know that there's probably something wrong with you if you're thinking that way. Cut 9, please.
At what point does your very expensive home stop being a basic human necessity and something that essentially reinforces the very system that you're critiquing?
I don't think the purchases that you make necessarily, I mean, if you're buying a private jet, it's a little different, but I don't think the purchases that you make, as long as you're not using it to engage in capital accumulation, imply, something less ethical than whatever purchase you're making in general. I have a house. The reason why it's so expensive is because it's in West Hollywood.
So location, the first 3 rules of real estate. Yes. Yeah, you're in West Hollywood in a $2.7 million house. I don't understand the delineation of, what do you say, wealth humiliation, DeSantis? Is that a new term for you?
That's not one I'm familiar with. Capital accumulation is what he's got a problem with, apparently, which I guess is defined as anyone who has more money than he does. But he's the cutoff. That's the same with Bernie Sanders. Like, he's got millions of dollars in multiple homes, which he doesn't view as problematic. But anyone who has like $100 million, well, they're a real enemy to society.
So I shouldn't buy the lottery ticket tonight.
You'll be on their bad side, I think.
Boy, I would love to win the lottery and just be on their bad side. That's a squad goal for me. I would love that. But this guy, I don't understand how the Democrat Party hasn't cut him loose. I know I'm against cancel culture, but I really think it would be wise to cancel this guy. If I'm advising the Democrats, and I don't think they need my advice, I think they understand this. But at what point do you say, Piker is radioactive? Do not get him anywhere near your campaign. Not only does he speak out of both sides of his mouth, living in his $2.7 million home in West Hollywood, he also is out to destroy whatever you've done with the black community. And all of his old statements are coming up. This one, we have to bleep all of these things this guy said. We go back to something Hassan Piker said about black people. Cut 10.
What black people care about. Oh, black people care about this. Black people care about that. Like, shut the up. That's not how politics works. Oh, well, Hassan, how dare you? Like it or not, black people care about this issue. It's like, it's such a stupid stance.
Any other black folk want to engage in radical activist language in this chat? Suck.
Yes, dude. It's because I'm racist. That's why. It's because I'm racist, dude. Go back to a better time when lynchings were happening. This is what I like as a black man. Are you always doing too much with black people? Leave them alone. I want to go back to lynching. Like, I get it, but relax. Man, shut the up, okay?
If you let people talk, they will tell you exactly who they are. Hassan Piker is telling people exactly who he is, and the Democrats have not cut the rope and pushed his boat out to sea, which is what they need to do.
I bet they will.
You think they will?
Yeah, because I think he's helpful in primaries where you have an activist contingent that you're trying to woo. So it makes sense for a candidate to maybe try to get him on their side. But in a general election, I agree with you. He's an anchor. He's not going to help any candidate running against a more moderate Republican.
Well, he was brought in to be the closer in the primary for Abdul Rahman El Sayed. And I say that to try and be accurate in saying his name, not because I'm heavily Flemish today. It's just Abdul Rahman El Sayed. He was the closer. He was the guy brought in a rally. He actually went on stage as well for Francesca Hahn. And they haven't put out a note. Now, maybe there's no leader. That's the question. Who's leading the Democrat Party right now? Who is telling all these candidates how to run their campaigns? Maybe there isn't anybody. So the candidates themselves, who don't always have the best advice or the greatest maturity, are the ones who are making those decisions. Very interesting. I'm going to take a break. When we come back, I've got more madness from the Democrat Socialists. There's also a really interesting thing that the Transportation Secretary has done to help hire air traffic controllers, and I applaud this. Plus, you know the difference between an acronym and actually creating a word? Like the FBI is an acronym, right? We don't say FIBI, right? We say the FBI. But when we have the...
we should say FIBI, though. I like that.
I'm totally against FIBI. I appreciate the effort. But for like the Federal Emergency Management Agency, we call them what?
Oh, FEMA, sorry.
FEMA. So FEMA's an acronym that became a word. FBI will not be FIBI. But
yeah, if I was a criminal, I wouldn't be intimidated by FIBI.
Neither would I. Or the CIA together with the FBI would be Fabicia. And that wouldn't scare me either. It's another thing. But LGBTQ, which has mystified me forever. Now, DeSantis, you got to admit, when I sent you the clip that turned LGBTQ into a word, You stopped and watched it a few times, did you not?
I was very confused. At first I wasn't sure what I was reading. And once I watched the clip, then yeah, it became an instant favorite.
We got to get into this because I love language. Language is just such a magical thing in our world, as you might tell. I'm in the right world to love language. We'll get to that. So much more to get to today. There's a lot of silly stuff, and there's a lot of serious stuff yet to come. Plus, maybe join me in my campaign to get Matt DeSantis to be the next press secretary for Donald Trump, as Caroline Leavitt has abandoned her post to go home and raise a family. How dare she? What a good decision. We'll get into all of it. It's Mike Opelka. It's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This piece is perfect, but I'm just not sure about the color.
Honey, this is Bucks County Estate Traders. They're a one-stop shop with their in-house upholstery service. Their design team can help us customize it to fit our living room perfectly.
Even if I'm thinking bright purple?
Okay, let's talk about this.
Bring your vision to life, however bold it may be. With Bucks County Estate Traders' in-house upholstery service, our craftsmen can redesign any piece on the showroom floor to make it yours. Visit our Hatfield showroom today or click buckscountyestatetraders.com.
Looking for an auto repair shop you can actually trust? McCullough's Auto Repair has been serving Delco since 1999. They believe honesty, fairness, and friendly service still matter. Chuck and Ralph run the place. No matter your car's issue, they'll explain it in plain English and help you decide what really needs to be done now and what can wait. Chuck's motto is, I'll never steer you wrong. Call McCullough's at 610-446-1230 and ask for Chuck or Ralph, or visit McCulloughsAutoRepair.com.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
General Motors is getting ready to eject Google's Gemini AI assistant from its vehicles in favor of a homegrown AI system. GM says that its GM AI assistant will function better than Gemini AI in its vehicles, combining conversational AI with GM vehicle data and OnStar intelligence. GM says that its AI assistant will better understand the vehicle and make everyday ownership easier. I'm Jason Brooks.
Back to school season is here, and Dollar General has everything you need to start the school year strong. Don't forget to grab a pair of bright yellow sunglasses from the Yellow Glasses Project for just $2. Every purchase makes a difference, with 100% of proceeds helping support teachers, classrooms, and nonprofit organizations working to improve reading and literacy skills across the country. Stop by Dollar General today and shine bright with the Yellow Glasses Project, available now at Dollar General. The Yellow Glasses Project is a program of the Dollar General Literacy Foundation.
My name is
Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Back to school season is here, and Dollar General has everything you need to start the school year strong. Don't forget to grab a pair of bright yellow sunglasses from the Yellow Glasses Project for just $2. Every purchase makes a difference, with 100% of proceeds helping support teachers, classrooms, and nonprofit organizations working to improve reading and literacy skills across the country. Stop by Dollar General today and shine bright with the Yellow Glasses Project, available now at Dollar General. The Yellow Glasses Project is a program of the Dollar General Literacy Foundation. Hair Volume for New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS. Weather is sponsored by Ashley Furniture.
No rain in the forecast this evening. Overnight, it'll still be pretty warm, down to 72. Tomorrow, humid, high 90. Friday, less humidity. Partial sunshine, high 86. Saturday looks really nice, high 86 and low humidity, and no rain in the forecast.
This Saturday, starting at 10 a.m., it's the 12-hour sale event at Ashley. Save up to 70%, plus enjoy free delivery. Plus, we're giving away prizes every hour. Big savings, big giveaways, and one big day to shop. Don't miss the 12-hour sale this Saturday at Ashley.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Auto Group studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
It is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Mike Opelka with you on this Wednesday. It was a little cooler today, too. It felt a little bit nicer outside. You actually could breathe, even though it's 97.5 degrees. I guess the humidity was down a little bit. But I don't mind the heat. It's the humidity because, you can't see it, but I didn't stray as far from the apes as the rest of you. And Justin appreciates this, too, because you're a hairy dude, too, with that facial hair, etc. The heat and the humidity gets to you, Justin, doesn't it?
Oh, my God. It gets to you like no other.
It's tough, which is why whoever invented air conditioning, we love you. We love you forever and ever and ever. We have a lot going on today. We're talking about the breaking news announcement earlier that Caroline Leavitt is leaving the White House as her gig as the press secretary. Time is up. She's been there since the second term, and I think doing just a bang-up job. And that inspired an off-air discussion of both the best and the worst press secretaries. So if you have a nomination either to replace Caroline Leavitt or you'd like to make a special mention of the best and the worst press secretaries, 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. I asked DeSantis, just casual, I asked him, who's the greatest press secretary ever? And you pulled something out of a dark and remote location on your body. You pulled something out. Who's the name you threw at me?
It was James Haggerty, the Eisenhower administration White House press secretary. He was famous for having handled everything after Eisenhower's heart attack in 1955.
I've never heard that name before, but now I'm writing it down to look it up. I figured she would come up with something obscure. I was thinking, I immediately thought of our friend Rich Zioli, who I do think would make a good press secretary. But who's one of Rich's best friends in the business?
Dana Perino?
Yeah. She was Bush's press secretary for 2 years, for like a year and a half. She was a press secretary. She was terrific. She was great. Dana Perino. And also, speaking while we're in the Fox family, Kayleigh McEnany, and she crushes it.
I forgot about her. Yeah, she was good.
Yeah. But she was there just over a year. She followed Stephanie Grisham, who followed another great press secretary under President Trump, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who I still think has a lot more to do in government going forward. She's governor of Arkansas right now. I think Sarah Huckabee Sanders would be a great vice presidential pick for somebody like, I don't know, Marco Rubio. Just saying. But if we're looking at great press secretaries, there have been some terrific ones, and then there have been some real losers. We should actually do a poll of who's the worst press secretary.
We're all thinking of the same person, I think.
It seems like there's somebody certain in mind when you said
Let's think. Somebody who checks more boxes than any press secretary ever. Somebody who was the original, maybe the gold medal DEI winner when it comes to press secretaries. Is that the best way to phrase who I'm thinking about?
Yep, I'm thinking of the same person. That's the one that popped into my head.
Cringe, as my friend Vince calls her. Cringe, Corinne Jean-Pierre. She checked the female box, she checked the immigrant box, she checked the LGBTQRSTVU box, and she checked the person of color box. She had four count 'em boxes that she checked, and really was just the worst. Truly the worst. And she followed Jen Snarky, who lived up to her name. Jen Psaki was Biden's press secretary for just over 2 years. And while she was there, everybody knew she was leaving, and she was negotiating with MSNBC for a gig while she was doing the job. Seems like that should have been a violation right there. So, yeah, I think Corinne Jean-Pierre would be on top, but maybe we should let the people vote on this. Let's pick three. So, Corinne Jean-Pierre. Do we put Jen Snarky in there, Jen Psaki?
Yeah, she was pretty terrible.
All right, who else should be on the worst list?
Scaramucci, he was not technically press secretary. He was
he was only 10
communications
days.
Director, I think.
Yeah,
right?
and he was only 10 days. They barely had the business cards printed. The mooch is he gets an all-time rating for just a jackwagon. I think the guy with the most ironic name, Josh Earnest, under Obama. Remember him? He really wasn't earnest at all.
Yeah, he's a top contender.
Jay Carney was pretty bad. And we think about great ones. We don't give Tony Snow enough credit. He was the former Fox News guy who was there under Bush, George W. Bush. He was really a really fine man.
My personal favorite is Sean Spicer, because the rumor is he was the guy that dressed up as the Easter. Oh, we got Peter Contel. He was the guy that dressed up as the Easter Bunny at the White House during the egg roll.
See, I could see that. Spicy also. Didn't we hear that Spicer was hiding in the bushes outside the White House?
Was that right after they hired Scaramucci? Because he resigned immediately.
Yeah, and Spicer's gone on to have a healthy career as a podcaster and writing books, and he's really fun to talk to. I know you've run into him at the White House a couple times, as have I, and he's still a beloved person in the Trump administration, albeit he was only there briefly. What was it, 6 months? 7? Yeah, 6 months. He lasted all of 6 months. So Spicy in the Easter Bunny costume. Somebody should have found out. So KJP, Corinne Jean-Pierre, Jen Snarky, and who did we say was the third one for worst press secretary?
Maybe
ever?
Josh Ernst. That one.
Josh Earnest.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joni Ernst is the senator. He's actually Ernest, which makes it even more ironic that his name is
you're right.
Ernest.
Because he's
not. But there were a lot of great ones. A lot of great ones that were there as well. And maybe we should remember Dee Dee Myers, because I thought she was like under Bill Clinton. She was a little like a substitute teacher as well.
She was 31 years old when she took that job.
Yeah, she got the job. It was like Clinton was hiring people right out of MTV. He would have hired VJs if he could have. Maybe he was just trying to hire young women to get more young women in the White House. Who knows? But people say that President Trump has a type too. He hired Caroline Leavitt. I think she has comported herself excellently, though. She is a great press secretary. a terrific press secretary. So we'll put a poll up on the YouTube channel. You can vote on that. Be a lot of fun. And speaking of cringe, Jean-Pierre, who I do think is probably going to run away with this, although we'll let the people vote. I mentioned this when we talked about the difference between an acronym and a word. And in the case of an abbreviation like FEMA, which is it's an acronym for the Federal Emergency Management Agency, that became a word because we just say FEMA. And basically, Make America Great Again, MAGA, a word was created. Everybody knows what MAGA means. But we haven't been able to do it with the LGBTQ alphabet soup of all the special interest groups in the alternative lifestyle department. And then I stumbled into this clip and I sent it to DeSantis. I said, we got to play this tomorrow. And then we didn't get to play it yesterday because we were so busy yesterday. But we have to play this. Please pay attention to this, especially if you're watching on the YouTube channel, because they have taken the community, or at least these two people, have taken this word, this abbreviation, and turned it into a word that I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. Roll it.
These liberal lesbians actually are on our way to drop that daughter off at Sleepaway Camp, at Camp Highlight, which is a camp for children of LGBTQ parents or children who identify as LGBTQ, It's an amazing, amazing camp, and she's headed there now, and we're really going to miss her because we love her.
LGBTQ. Am I saying it right, DeSantis? Because I know you've been practicing in front of the mirror all day.
LGBTQ.
The parents of LGBTQ children, or the parents that are LGBTQ. I'm not going to say LGBTQRSTUV anymore. I'm just going to say LGBTQ. Let's play that one more time. I just got to make sure I'm saying it correctly.
These liberal lesbians actually are on our way to drop that daughter off at Sleepaway Camp, at Camp Highlight, which is a camp for children of LGBTQ parents or children who identify as LGBTQ, It's an amazing...
It sounds exotic, doesn't it? LGBTQ. We're LGBTQ parents.
What are what's the IA? Asexual?
No, hold on a second. LGBTQ is questioning. I think, idiotic? No. I and A, somebody's got to know this.
Oh, it's intersex. Intersex and asexual.
So those are the... Liberty qua is much easier to say. If you're gender confused or you're confused about anything, just say you're liberty qua. We're going to have to make a song about this. Newman Price, what are you doing? We need a short song about the Liberty Qua people. And tying into this, you've got the Rosie O'Donnell clip.
We do, yes.
Matthew, while we're in this department, while we're in the Liberty Qua, I'm sorry, people. I just find this too funny. This is so ridiculous. Life is crazy. While we're in the Liberty Qua department, Rosie O'Donnell left the country, but we can't seem to get rid of her. She is like gum on your shoe on a hot day. You know what I'm saying? When you hit the pavement and it's hot and your shoe hits that piece of gum and you lift it up and you go, oh, no. And it stays with you. That's Rosie O'Donnell. She's just stuck to us. She's absolutely glued to us. Rosie O'Donnell is finding a way to let the madness control her life. Now, she has Trump derangement syndrome, and maybe the worst case of Trump derangement syndrome. And I've seen outside of Hillary Clinton, which we'll get to as well. But she also has a daughter who is a member of the Liberty Qua world. And so we have to play you Rosie's explanation of how she handles her Liberty Qua daughter and her pronouns. So we got to take a break and line all this up. Maybe we'll get the Hillary Clinton thing, too, and talk about Trump derangement syndrome. 855-839-1210 if you want to join this. Don't forget, you can vote for the worst press secretary ever. I'm still going to try and send Matt DeSantis' resume to the White House if we can get him to be a member of the press team. I think it'd be great for all of us. Maybe Matt doesn't want to live in D.C., but I'm only doing this because I know what's good for you. When we come back, Rosie O'Donnell and her Liberty Qua madness. It's Opelka. It's Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Don't make the same mistake that I did. I called my insurance company directly, and they minimized my claim. Then I called Morano's Public Adjustment Group, and they made sure I got paid top dollar. For all your insurance needs, call Morano's Public Adjustment Group at 445-247-8228. That's 445-247-8228. And tell them Mr. Tony sent you.
South Jersey owned and operated, GreenLaneDelivery.com has been in the produce business for nearly a century. They now deliver the freshest produce directly to your door. Visit GreenLaneDelivery.com and see why over 10,000 of your neighbors have already made the switch. Priced for every family. Quality produce, sourced in season, delivered to your table the next day. First-time customers use promo code WPHT for 10% off. Make the convenient switch. Freshness is just a click away at GreenLaneDelivery.com.
In Philadelphia, Chase is proud to root for the home team because they're our team too. We cheer from the bleachers and on the sidelines. We cheer for gymnasts and quarterbacks. And with more than 80 local Chase branches and 5,000 nationwide, we are right beside you, Philadelphia. Neighborhood bankers, digital tools, national strength. Chase, make more of what's yours.
JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Late summer heat has hit Philly hard, and August humidity is peaking. Don't let your energy bills skyrocket before taking action on failing windows. Call the pros at Window Nation right now. Throughout August, get 50% off all window styles, plus 0 down payment and no payments or interest for 2 full years. Upgrade to energy-efficient windows from Window Nation. They install in just 1 day or less. Beat the heat, protect your budget, and save big today. Schedule your fast, free consultation now at windownation.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. You've spent years taking care of everyone else. Now it's your turn. Whether you've been thinking about replacing missing teeth, improving your smile, or restoring the ability to eat and smile comfortably, Dr. Robert Bentz and Dr. Emily Bentz, board-certified prosthodontists, specialize in complex, restorative, and cosmetic dentistry. You can smile confidently in photos, enjoy meals, laugh freely, and feel yourself again. Schedule a consultation with Bentz Dental Group. 610-272-6949.
If your water heater doesn't say Bradford White, you're missing out. Our products work harder, longer, and more efficiently. Every tank is manufactured right here in America using the finest components from around the world. Only available through trusted wholesale distributors and installed by pros, not DIY. We're professional grade from start to finish. When it comes to water heaters, leave it to the professionals. Bradford White, built to be the best.
TurnersvilleJeep.com. Your South Jersey used car supercenter wants you to save big this month on their enormous selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. Don't want to pay a lot? No problem. They have dozens of vehicles priced under $25,000. Don't have a down payment? No problem. They work with dozens of banks and will work hard to get you approved for the vehicle of your dreams. Just minutes from all bridges or online 24/7 at TurnersvilleJeep.com. Again, that's TurnersvilleJeep.com.
From North Wales to Willingboro, we know your favorite stations, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT 453. Mike Opelka with you. Just around the corner, Gerald Posner, author and good friend of mine, is going to talk with us about the madness that was government paying for mutilation of children. We'll talk about that. That ended yesterday, I believe. I hope we'll get into that. And we're following up on a couple of topics. Who do you think was the worst press secretary? We're talking about the Liberty Qua, and I'll get the Rosie O'Donnell clip in here in a second, but Greg is calling from the Northeast. Hello, Greg. Welcome to the program, sir.
I'm Mike, Justin, Matt. That word is such, I can't curse, such horse crap. That woman can't even, she says it 3 times. She says it differently all 3 times. She stole it from that life insurance commercial, Liberty Mutual, where you have that buffoon dude saying Liberty Mutual, and he can't spell it. That's what that lady sounds like.
Oh,
this
wow.
Like
the guy who says Liberty Bibberty, and he can't say Liberty Mutual. Yeah, Liberty Qua. Liberty.
It's the same thing. Run that back again. Because I'm like, 3 times she says it. It's just, these aren't serious people. No one cares that 2 gay women, I imagine, or we'll say alternative lifestyle women. It's identity politics.
No, they're definitely lesbianic. Forgive me for making this judgment. One of them's kind of attractive. You didn't see it on the YouTube channel because you're probably driving. But DeSantis, am I wrong? The woman who's speaking, she's kind of attractive, right?
Yeah, she's not terrible looking.
She might be called a lipstick lesbian. That might be the desert. I think that's the technical term, Greg. Not sure.
That's a scientific term for sure. But it's just like I said. It's identity politics. Just stop. It's like Latin X and to go on with the whole rest of them. There's no reason for it. It's non-serious is what it is.
That's
it's trying to just make stuff up. Nobody cares. We'll accept you. They can drop your kid off at camp. That's all you have to say. That's all
it's
you
not
need
just
to say.
camp, but Greg, it's not just camp. It's Liberty Qua camp. They're going to want Liberty Qua parking. We're going to have Liberty Qua parking at the store.
That's the seventh time. It's always going to be different because everybody. How about a person that has a lisp? How the hell are they going to say that? Right? You get a lisp in there. We're going to.
Imagine Daffy Duck trying to say Liberty Qua.
I want Karine Jean-Pierre to say it. That will be even more beautiful. That will that's going to sound like the Three Stooges. B-A-B, B-I-O, B-I, B-I, all that stuff. That's what that's going to sound like.
Wow.
It's nonsensical. It is. It really is.
Very good callback to the Stooges, Greg. Very good. That's Hall of Fame quality call. That's great. Thank you. Thank you. And a Liberty Qua to you, sir. Liberty Qua to you and yours. Oh, my goodness. We didn't get to the Rosie O'Donnell clip. Do we have time to play it? Matt, it's too long, isn't it?
Yeah, we kind of ran out of time. We'll get to it before the end of the show.
Somebody likes, Rosalie liked my usage of the term lesbianic. I think that is a scientific term. When someone is attracted, a female is attracted to another female, I think you are in a lesbianic state. And that does have its roots in Greek history, does it not, Matt? You probably studied that at Harvard.
That's my concentration, actually, yeah.
The island of Lesbos. Isn't that where the female warriors were?
What? I don't know. It could be.
I need you to do a little homework now. We'll do that during the break. Plus, Gerald Posner, author Gerald Posner, joining us. Gerald's a journalist who's done yeoman duty and pointing out what was the most hideous abuse, I think, of young people, the gender mutilation of young people, and we hope we're seeing the end of that. We'll get to that. And I know some of these gender transition clinics are now turning into detransitioning, and I think that's a good thing, too. It's Mike Opelka. It's Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Hey, Dawn Stensland here. Have you looked at your roof lately? If not, don't wait until fall. Once cooler weather and storms arrive, small roofing issues quickly become expensive repairs. Right now is the perfect time to protect your home and save. Through August 31st, Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding is offering 25% off a brand new roof. And here's one of the many reasons I've trusted Chapman over the years. They're a GAF Certified Plus contractor. It means they can offer the Silver Pledge warranty, adding up to 10 years of workmanship coverage that most roofing companies simply cannot. So if you've been thinking about replacing your roof, right now's the perfect time. Beat the fall rush, lock in your savings, enjoy peace of mind before the seasons change. Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding. Call them today. Get this on the calendar. Schedule your free consultation. ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Offer ends August 31st. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Babbel proudly presents the Sheep Cheese Fiasco.
Cute market. Ooh, cheese. Let's get cheese. Cheese, cheese, cheese. Hola. Quiero una oveja. Pequeñita.
¿Una oveja pequeñita?
Sí.
Bueno, pues tengo como 20.
Oh, no. Oh, but they're cute.
Don't let your Spanish fool you. Avoid bringing home the farm with Babbel, the award-winning language learning app.
Can you make us some cheese, please? Oh, cheese. You're not cheese.
Practice with Babbel's guided conversations based on real situations. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will have you speaking conversationally in as little as 3 weeks.
Yes. Oh, you're so sweet.
Get up to 50% off on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's 50% off at BABBEL.com.
You know what I love? American-made products, baby. That's right. It's Rich Zioli. American-made products, and that's what you get from Emmons Roofing and Siding. Owens Corning shingles are made in New Jersey. Certainteed siding made right outside of Philly. Provia windows and doors handcrafted in Ohio. And because Emmons is platinum with Owens Corning, your roof comes with a lifetime workmanship warranty. That's accountability on American-made quality from an American company right in our backyard. EmmonsRoofing.com. EmmonsRoofing.com.
Colombia, crews frantically digging through the rubble by hand and heavy equipment looking for earthquake survivors. ABC's Faith Abube is in the hard-hit city of Cali.
The death toll rising, at least 224 killed after that 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck Monday, toppling buildings, crippling roads, and damaging health centers in multiple cities. The president of Colombia sworn in just last Friday, saying more than 1,600 homes across the country collapsed.
We're learning more about the security measures taken during President Trump's trip to Turkey last month, where he snuck onto a different plane. Here's ABC's Jonathan Carl.
The New York Times reports that U.S. officials feared the Iranians had information on Trump's whereabouts in Turkey and that they could target his plane with a surface-to-air missile. As President Trump was moved to another plane and a catering truck, the traveling press and most of his staff remained on the now decoy Air Force One, including Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
A grand jury indictment has been unsealed in the case of Nick Reiner in the alleged murders of his parents, Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner, at their California home last December. ABC's Alex Stone is in Los Angeles with more.
The charges in this indictment are essentially the same as what he was originally charged with, the murder of his parents. They added one special circumstance of lying in wait. He was already charged with multiple murders and using a knife as special circumstances. Essentially what this does is allows the prosecution to bypass a preliminary hearing and go right on to the trial. Not much else changes in this, but he has now been indicted.
Nick Reiner scheduled to return for a pretrial hearing September 15th. Millions of people across the Northern Hemisphere treated today to a total solar eclipse. Portions of Russia, Iceland, and Greenland first, then northern Spain and Portugal. You're listening to ABC News.
In a recent survey of 123,000 wireless customers, Pure Talk was the only wireless company to receive 5 stars in every category: coverage, support, value, and data. What else do you need to know? Switch to Pure Talk today and get any plan, including their top shelf unlimited data plan, for just $15 a month for your first 3 months. No contract, no commitment. Dial pound 250, say micro, and let Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team help you make the switch.
These days, heading back to school means more than pencils and notebooks. It means laptops, tablets, online accounts, and a lot of personal information moving across the internet. WebRoot Total Protection gives families powerful online defense tools with antivirus, VPN, cloud backup, identity protection, and more, helping keep your digital life secure throughout the school year and beyond. Go to webroot.com/radio and get 60% off today. That's webroot.com/radio for 60% off. Live a better digital life with WebRoot, because peace of mind shouldn't be optional.
Health insurance premiums are slated to go up next year.
The cost of Obamacare plans in the marketplace have gone up 20% since Congress failed to extend subsidies that were put in place during COVID. Now, Bloomberg is reporting that U.S. employers are also bracing for the largest price hike in 15 years. The rising price of prescription drugs, hospital stays, and doctor visits are all contributing factors. As more small businesses drop coverage for their workers, some employees who can't afford what is offered have simply given up on having health insurance at all. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
New York City officials touting public safety efforts so far this year to bring down crime rates. New York's Attorney General Letitia James crediting new strategies for taking more than 3,000 guns off the streets.
Every illegal gun on our streets has the potential to shatter a family, devastate a neighborhood, and change lives forever. And that is why announcements like this matter.
Officials say major crime is down nearly 7% citywide. Cases of cyclosporiasis now topping 24,000, according to the most recent CDC data. There are 13,895 laboratory-confirmed cases, with 740 hospitalizations reported. The latest figures come amid an outbreak now linked to now-recalled iceberg lettuce supplied by Taylor Farms that has spread to at least 15 states. The CDC shows ages for those getting sick range from 1 to 98 years old. Michelle Franzen, ABC.
In a recent survey of 123,000 wireless customers, Pure Talk was the only wireless company to receive 5 stars in every category: coverage, support, value, and data. What else do you need to know? Switch to Pure Talk today and get any plan, including their top shelf unlimited data plan, for just $15 a month for your first 3 months. No contract, no commitment. Dial pound 250, say micro, and let Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team help you make the switch.
PDQ POS is the MVP in point-of-sale solutions. Easy to use with the best support in the industry, and it doesn't take a bite out of your sales with costly fees. It's the choice of all concept food service businesses across the country. PDQ POS has real-time analytics with insights to elevate your team and your play calling. PDQ POS has been rated the #1 point-of-sale by restaurant owners for more than 35 years, so don't wait. Make the switch to PDQ POS today. Visit PDQPOS.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Now, The Drive at 5. 30 minutes of nonstop talk from Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Turn it up, crank the dial. Mike Opelka is back to make you smile. He's the voice that cuts right through. Back on 1210, Opelka's here for you. The truth has no agenda, and neither does he. So kick back and enjoy the show on WPHT. Mike Opelka's in your town.
ears, in your head, living rent-free. Maybe not. It is Mike Opelka on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Thank you for being here as we kick off the third hour of the show today. Tomorrow, special announcement, tomorrow and Friday will be 4-hour adventures as Zioli is taking a couple days off. So I will be here Thursday and Friday, God willing, and we will take you all the way to 7 o'clock before Jimmy Fallon. So extra stuff tomorrow. And I know Guy Shiraki's joining us on Friday, and Lauren Fix, the car coach, called me today to rub it in that she is at an event called the Pebble Beach Concourse. She is out in California at the coolest car show ever, the Concourse. It's like the wildest, most expensive cars. And she's going to make my mouth water like Pavlov's dog at the sound of the bell. I will be the drooling, pampered menial when we get Lauren Fix on the show tomorrow. So we have a couple of busy days planned for you, as well as this third and final hour. I promise you I will get to the Rosie O'Donnell odd surrender that she has done. And she's not the only one. I really think it's kind of interesting when we see parents surrendering their obligation to raise their kids and say, oh, we're just going to let you be whoever you want to be. You're going to be able to be, if you want to be a cat, if you want to wear a tail and walk around the King of Prussia Mall and pretend to be a cat, we're going to be okay with that. Or if you want to say that you're a boy but you really are a girl, we're going to be okay with that. Or if you want to call yourself by a plural pronoun, we're okay with that, because we want to be your friend. We don't want to be a parent who teaches you how to survive. No, that would be wrong. That would be actual parenting. Anyway, I got all worked up on that. We still are looking for suggestions as to the worst press secretary. It looks like Corinne Jean-Pierre is leading in that polling, followed by Jen Snarky, and then maybe Josh Earnest. As you know, Caroline press secretary has announced, Caroline Levitt, the press secretary, has announced she's leaving. And I said Matt DeSantis should put his name in for that, but you're really not interested, are you, Matt?
If they asked, I would do it. I don't think they're going to come calling. It would be bad for all of us.
I'm still saying it would be great for us. We would have a mountain of material every day. Zioli, if you're listening, send Matt a note to say, hey, you should do this. But Matt, I wouldn't want you to go. I really wouldn't want you to go because you're just too much fun to have here. I'm sure Zioli feels the same way.
It would be a quick stint. I think I'd be out faster than the mooch.
I was going to say longer, shorter than the mooch. What are we betting on?
It lasted 10 days. I would go for 11, but
single digits.
Yeah.
Single digits. The other thing we have to look into while we're talking to our next guest, my buddy Gerald Posner, see if you can find out if you're able to get me a pair of those electric shock gloves that the ICE agents are probably going to be using in the very near future. I don't know if you've seen those. You haven't seen the video on that?
No, is that real?
Yeah. They've taken stun guns to a new level. They have gloves that have an electric charge. I think we're going to spend $20 million buying them for the ICE agents. And I'm sure that one might fall off the truck. I'm just saying it would be kind of fun to have to get through crowds, when I'm just trying to get through. Work on that while I talk to our next guest. My old friend Gerald Posner, who has written dozens of books, and they range in everything from his early works, which was a novel, to serious stuff about the Kennedy assassination, about the Saudis and the kingdom and September 11th and Big Pharma, etc. But lately, Gerald has turned his massive brain on journalism and going after important stories. And I encourage you to follow Gerald wherever you see him. He's got a great Substack. We'll get into it. But for the last year plus, Gerald I see as a great warrior in the fight to save the kids from the people that would be promoting gender mutilation. I don't think that's an exaggeration. And after yesterday's announcement at the White House, the first person who came to mind was my friend Gerald Posner. So I reached out and I said, if you got some time, we should knock it around and talk about what this means. So he's joining us here right now. Gerald, thanks for being here. How are you?
Mike, great to be with you. As a matter of fact, when I get finished talking to you, I'm going to go online and try to find a video of those stun gun gloves that we're making for the ICE agents for $20 million. Sounds amazing.
I think this, first of all, I wish we'd keep stuff like that quiet, because people like me having them is probably not good, but there's a whole bunch of other people that really should never have access to stun gloves. Think about it.
That's so true. But keeping things quiet is just not the way we do things anymore. I mean, we tell the Iranians when we're going to hit them the next day and how hard we're going to hit them, and then we hit them. Everything's sort of out in the open.
Gerald, you went to Catholic school. I went to Catholic school. Isn't that what the nuns did? Once more, little mister, you're gonna get it.
That's true. And you know what? It worked. If we had the nuns in charge of the negotiations with Iran, we might have a deal. That's true.
Well, now I'm worried about nuns with stun gloves, because that's really a dangerous situation. Gerald and I go way back to my days in New York City, and we were neighbors who lived in the same building and shared crazy stories. And one of the things we talked about was our Catholic upbringing. I sent Gerald some links to some of the videos from last night's Pope Hat night at the White Sox Stadium, Bankrate Stadium in Chicago. Gerald, you're probably not as familiar with the the White Sox history as I am. In 1979, there was something in Chicago called Disco Destruction Night, where a disc jockey hated disco, and they did a promotion where for 99 cents you got a ticket to the game, but you brought a disco 45 record, and they piled them on center field between the two games of the doubleheader, and they blew them up to eliminate disco Destruction Night. The crowd rioted, tore up the field. The White Sox had to forfeit the second game, and I think they lost 3 games after that. And I'm wondering, in your estimation as a Catholic, do you see Pope Hat Night finally clearing the ledger against the White Sox and all their bad karma?
It definitely does. As you were describing, as a matter of fact, that disco night, I was thinking my lawyer's hat came on. Another life, I'm a lawyer, and I was thinking liability. Oh my God, what happens when you blow it up? Somebody gets hurt. Little did I expect a riot to result. But I think that as the holy sellout, I guess that event with the Pope's hat last night was spectacular. You told me about it, and the more I looked into it, I didn't realize they were originally going to do just 2,500 as a giveaway, and then they decided, wow, there's a real interest, and they did all 40,000. Having done a book on the Vatican, I love the mitre, that hat, or papal tiara, as we would call it. But the one that gave away in Chicago had lappets and everything, those 2 parts at the back that come down. It's a fantastic collectible.
Well, you'll be happy to know that I will be sporting mine on the golf course. My brother-in-law attended the game on my behalf, and he's a Milwaukee Brewers fan, so he couldn't see himself wearing either the Pope jersey, which we were one of the first 2,500 tickets sold, and the White Sox promised those early adopters something special, and they made 2,500 jerseys that say Chicago's Pope, and they have a number 14 on the back. So I will not only have the mitre, I will have the jersey when I'm on the golf course. As soon as I get it, I will wear it.
I can't wait to see that posted.
Yeah, it will be up there, and I'm sure I'll be reprimanded by the golf people who want everyone has to have their shirts tucked in, and you have to have appropriate gear. I'll be in trouble. Gerald, as I said yesterday, when I saw the president in the Oval Office talking about signing this order that Medicare will no longer pay for the gender transition of children, I immediately thought of you. Are we out of the woods on this yet? What are your thoughts on this?
No, that's a great step. I'm very happy the administration is doing it to the extent that they can cut off the financial pipeline for these butchers, the clinicians and doctors who are still doing surgeries on minors, giving them hormones that are permanently changing their lives, that they have irreversible consequences from. If they can cut off that money supply to them, fantastic. That is going to help because some of these surgeries and procedures are done under Medicaid, especially Medicaid. But originally, Mike, the administration had a really ambitious proposal when they put it out as a proposed rule a few months ago, which was if you are a hospital doing gender surgeries on minors, we're going to cut off Medicare and Medicaid for all medical procedures.
Wow.
So you want to do in one small section of the hospital those. Now, the bulk of income for a lot of hospitals come from Medicare procedures and Medicaid. If you cut it off for things like cholesterol testing and for hernia operations and all the normal things that otherwise take place, that would have been a stranglehold. But the administration got such tremendous pushback on that from all of the hospitals and everything else. And of course, they said people are going to be at risk, procedures aren't going to be done, you're going to have cancer and heart patients and everybody else who aren't going to be covered and no treatment. So they backed off of that. I understand why they wanted to do it. So we're getting what I call the next best thing, cutting it off just for the procedures itself. But now that means Medicaid's out. Medicare is not really covering it for kids. But what's going to happen is if you're well-to-do, if you're one of these college-educated white liberals who are voting for DSA candidates, you might have enough money to put your kid through transgender surgery anyway. So it's going to be done by people who can pay for it out in places like San Francisco and Boston and everywhere else.
I have to ask the question because I have no idea. If someone isn't covered by insurance and or a government insurance program, how expensive is that transition? And there's lifelong care, is there not?
Right, exactly. Lifelong care, it's about $100,000. It depends upon the city for the actual surgical procedures. And then you're getting regular treatments to keep up the hormones and to get dilated. And there's a whole series of things that happen afterwards. There's also, I've been looking into this, trying to report it out. It's hard. It almost needs a team of reporters. And it really is the fact that I think that some of these clinics and hospitals that are doing the surgeries are coding it incorrectly on purpose to avoid being tagged as a place doing gender surgery on kids. They're instead trying to code it as there are some conditions. There's one called, I know it's a weird name, precocious puberty, in which it seems like everybody going through puberty is sort of at that point, but it's sort of too much hormones, too much testosterone or that you're going through. And so they use some other hormones to sort of balance it off. That's covered under medicine. It's not necessarily gender surgery. It has nothing to do with that. If they code it under that and they're still giving you hormones to change your sex, you might miss that when it's sent into insurance. So I think some of them are also playing games with the coding to get covered when they really shouldn't be.
So you're saying the providers, these clinics, have kind of done a workaround, which is bending the rules by saying, in essence, and Gerald and I probably know a few people in the entertainment business because we both lived and worked in New York City in the entertainment business for quite some time. We know actors, performers who wanted a nose job, but it wouldn't be covered and they didn't want to pay for it. So they were able to say they had a deviated septum, which would cover the nose job. So this is that same kind of thinking. They found a workaround.
And you mentioned a second ago, actors or actresses. I mean, I just can't get over how many times I open up the paper and read, and it seems like there's something in the Kool-Aid or in the water in Hollywood. So many transgender kids from celebrities and actors. And I'm not just talking Will Smith or that. I mean, you just go down the line, and it seems as though it was, I guess, the thing to be different or that. But in terms of per capita, you look at it, and, people who are working on a construction line in Wisconsin or in Illinois or that, people who are doing hard labor and everything, they don't necessarily have a lot of kids in the local school who are identifying as a different gender and wanting to go through surgery. But in Hollywood, it's remarkable how many of them have kids who think that they are born in the wrong body, and it's like a contagion out there.
Well, or instead of trying to help a kid work through the uncomfortable years that some kids will have, you just succumb to their wishes and say, well, okay, well, there's a pill for that, or there's a scalpel for that. And
Right.
they give up because they want to be their kid's best friend and not their parent, which is an abdication of a responsibility, the ultimate responsibility human beings have. Gerald, correct me on this if I'm wrong, but I believe Texas and the Cleveland Clinic have now established detransitioning clinics, which are going to be focused on maybe correcting some of the mistakes that were made.
Yeah, I mean, Texas Children's Hospital, which has a settlement, is establishing that, and Cleveland Clinic will do it as well. So Texas Children's Hospital will be the first sort of clinic. We call it detransitioning, but Mike, it's not perfect. You've done amputations in some cases.
Yeah.
Girls have had their breast taken off, things like this. I mean, you can't put it back on. So the detransition brings you back a little bit. But for instance, a perfect example is for young girls who take testosterone and their voices get deep. When you stop taking the testosterone, even if you say, okay, made a mistake, I'm never going to use it again, your voice stays deep. It never comes back again.
Wow.
So you end up with this deep voice. So there are things that you can't do. And I'm wondering, the detransition clinics that are new, if the same doctors in some cases who have done the surgeries are going to turn around and say, oh, well, let me also collect on trying to reverse the surgeries that I've done before and bill again through them. Because I don't think it should become a moneymaker in which you're able to have first done the mutilations and then say, okay, I'll try to correct it as well, and can you send me a check for that?
See, that seems that's like the guy who sets the fire and then calls the fire department and stands and watches his handiwork and offers to help. That's really irritating. I hope that's not happening. Yeah. I would hope they would find a way to stop it. We talked at one point, I think about a year or so ago, about how big of an industry this is. So do you remember that number? Because it was a staggering number in the billions.
Yeah, it is several $billion, but it's very hard to put an exact number on it because there's no national database, believe it or not. We don't have that yet of the number of surgeries done. It's one of the things I keep hoping the Trump administration will be able to do. I understand it's a lot of work, but it would be great if all of this was reported, because right now we're sort of picking it up state by state, going into localities, figuring out what the numbers are, the amount of sales that are being made on the puberty blockers. They're not approved by the FDA, so you have to figure out how many are being prescribed off-label. And it looks to me like a $3 to $4 billion business, but I could be off by 25% on the low side as well. And I actually think the real number is probably higher.
The stunning part of this is how permanent some of these treatments are, whether they are the surgical or the chemical treatments, and how they have dramatically affected the lives of these young people. And they will never be able to have a normal life. They'll always be an obligation. Gerald, do you think there's going to be some sort of fund the same way we had the asbestos fund or the tobacco fund, where the people who have been affected by this will be able to have a class action reward delivered to them by these clinics or big pharma?
Yeah, we're going to know, Mike, that it's getting closer to the end of this craziness, this scandal, when we see the advertisements on television from the class action attorneys. Have you changed your gender? Did you get surgery at a local thing, right? Call us up. Once we start to see the equivalent of the asbestos act, I don't mean to minimize those big class actions, but the class actions attorneys, that is an industry. It's a business. And they sort of, move in lockstep on tobacco and everything else. When they see it, they're looking, as you know now, at Facebook and others. There are things that they can sue for, the way that the likes were made addictive for kids. So you see the class action attorneys circling around. When we see those filed, I'll say to you, then we're in the last chapters.
I hope that happens soon. I'm not one to support the giant litigious nature of some parts of this country. But if that's an indication that this nightmare is about to come to an end, I'm all for it. I just think we're going to have a community of people who had this happen to them, and they're going to need care forever and ever and ever going forward. Gerald,
That's true.
You're still writing on this, are you not? You're still following this story?
I am. Yeah, I am still following it, and it's one of those things that I see people say, it's over with. We've essentially turned the tables on it. Trump administration's made great strides on it, without any doubt, but it's not over, unfortunately. And in places like San Francisco, my hometown, University of California, San Francisco, still doing gender surgeries. They have doctors there who still talk on the record about it.
Crazy.
And just in Texas court filing the other day, Mike, by the way, my head was blowing up about it. There's an organization that called WPATH for short. It sort of sets the standards of practice for transgender medical procedures that are followed by other countries and by doctors and hospitals in this country. And I exposed them 2 years ago in 2024 in a New York Post front page story with internal leaked files about how inside this organization they knew that their standards of practice were not scientifically proven and that many of the procedures they recommended with no age limits were damaging forever, and they still went ahead and produced it. In this court filing in Texas the other day, they admitted that their standards of practice that are followed around the world for transgender surgeries on minors are just our opinion. And I will tell you something. So we've been doing this to kids now for years based upon an opinion. I agree with you. We're too litigious in this country. Lawyers sue too often. I understand all that risk. But litigation can be a blunt tool. It was in the opioid crisis. They sued the hell out of the manufacturers of OxyContin, and they made Purdue go bankrupt. Fantastic. They made the Sackler family put up billions of dollars that they had made. They still have money left, but they had to put that into a settlement. And let's see the same thing here. I want to see these people sued into oblivion.
I'm with you on this. It is truly some of the best work you've done, and you've done a ton of great work. He is my friend. He is Gerald Posner. His books are just amazing, and the Big Pharma kind of laid out how big this empire is. So I encourage anybody to find what Gerald's writing, not only online but on bookshelves. Gerald, I got to ask you, because you and I would have had a good laugh about this. Donald Trump changing planes to get out of Turkey, and then the media getting mad about it because they were sitting ducks on the plane. There were also members of his cabinet that had to stick around. Stephen Miller was on the plane that didn't get Trump on it, one of the decoy plane. So was Marco Rubio. But was this not the most James Bond thing you've seen out of a president ever?
It's fantastic. It's straight out of James Bond. It's great. And you do really get the feeling afterwards, all of a sudden, you think to yourself, especially if you're one of those aides, so think Marco Rubio and Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, are sort of on the decoy flight, right? It's great. And then you say, okay, so if Scott Bessent and Marco Rubio were on the decoy flight, who did the president take with him who were indispensable? And he had with him Natalie Harp, who's sort of, been his aide forever. He had Dan Scavino, who's the deputy White House chief of staff and head of the presidential personnel. And, he had this Walton Natos, like his sort of longtime body man, who's now head of Oval Office operations. So he took his aides that are really important to him. And he did have Pete Hegseth there. So he's ready to continue, hammering Iran in case anything happens. But, the rest, the White House press corps, that was completely disposable. And I was laughing about that. No wonder the press is up in arms about it.
Well, they all have a great story, too, that they were on the decoy flight. I would be telling that story forever. They'll dine on that story in D.C. for 10 years, easily.
That's exactly right. And, it goes to show you as well that, we laugh about it and it's fantastic and it's a great, tale to tell. But it's also pretty interesting. I mean, they didn't do this just at the drop of a hat. They did it because they really had intelligence. The Israelis had, and the Americans confirmed it, that the Iranians were out to try to kill the president on this trip. And so, we talk about negotiations. Is the Strait of Hormuz open? Is it not open? What are we going to do next in that? And then you realize that the Islamic regime, these terrorists who are running Tehran, at the end, they will try to kill the president if they can. They will try to pull off an act of terror. This is who they are. And, behind the swapping of the planes was a real threat.
Very serious threat. And we talked to an expert, Rich Kolko, about this earlier, and he was reminding us just how serious this was as well. So while we have fun with it, there's a level of, as W would say, seriosity behind it that is there. Gerald, what are you working on that we need to keep our eyes out for, and where's the best place for people to find you?
I think on Substack I do a sort of a publication called Just the Facts with Gerald Posner, and I'm on X a lot, just under Gerald Posner. I'm currently berating and leaving. I'm walking away from my publisher of my last 3 books, who did Pharma, God's Bankers, and Miami Babylon, Simon & Schuster. They've been a great publisher for me. I've liked them. I like my editor. But they are also publishing a Palestinian novelist who has some of the worst anti-Semitism, anti-American rhetoric that she posts every day on X, who 5 days after the October 7th attack was hailing the terrorists as freedom fighters. And I wrote a piece saying, if you, Simon & Schuster, you walked away from Josh Hawley when he just put his fist up. Remember the protesters at the Capitol, Hawley was going into the Capitol because there was no riot. The Capitol building was functioning. He walked past them, put his fist up, and then he walked into the Capitol building. The next day, Simon & Schuster canceled the book deal with him. So I said, if you're able to do that, what about canceling a book deal with this absolute hater? And they they refused to comment at all. I said, I'll walk away from them, and then they issued a statement after I published a piece in the Free Press in which they said, we believe in free speech, and she doesn't represent the opinions of those of us at Simon & Schuster. So they're standing with her. So in the end, I'll find another publisher. I'm sorry to leave them, but you have to have some sense of integrity about these issues, and I don't want to be with a publisher who's putting out someone like that. I don't believe in cancel culture, but at the same time, you get to make your own choice about who you want to have publish your work.
Well, they say, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. If you are an author who is within a publishing house, people take note of who is alongside you. I salute your integrity. I salute your spine on this one, Gerald. And it just takes you up another notch here. It's another good move. I appreciate you always making time for my crazy radio shows, and I encourage everybody to support Gerald Posner. He's one of the good guys out there. My best to your bride, and thank you.
And my best to your bride. Great to talk to you, Mike. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. There he goes. Thanks. I better take a break as well. It's Mike Opelka. It is 5:35. My goodness, on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Free speech lives here. With Rich Zioli. Weeknights at 6. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Hi, this is Dave Barlow from Barlow Buick GMC in Woodbury, New Jersey. It's time to step up to the plate. The summer sell-out event at Barlow is here. Add Barlow discounts to factory rebates, and these deals are knocking it out of the park. The GMC lineup is stacked with power with the Sierra leading the way. The Buick lineup combines style, comfort, and confidence. Slide in the Barlow Buick GMC in Woodbury before these deals are out of here, or shop 24/7 at barlowautogroup.com. Buick, exceptional by design. GMC, we are professional grade.
My obstructive hypertrophic cardiomyopathy kept me from baseball games with my boys. The stairs were too much. With Camzyos, my symptoms have improved and I can be more active again. Camzyos is a cardiac myosin inhibitor, the first in its class to treat adults with symptomatic OHCM. Camzyos may improve your symptoms and ability to be active. And it reduced obstruction in the heart 4 times more.
In a 30-week study, Camzyos, mavacamten, reduced post-exercise obstruction on average 47 units of pressure versus 10 with placebo. Results may vary. Camzyos may cause serious side effects, including heart failure that can lead to death, a risk that's increased with serious infection, irregular heartbeat, or with certain other medicines. Do not stop, start, or change medicines or dose without telling your doctor. You must have echocardiograms before and during treatment. Seek help for new or worsening heart failure symptoms. Camzyos is only available through a restricted program. Before taking, tell your doctor about all your medical conditions and current or planned pregnancy, as Camzyos may harm your unborn baby.
Visit Camzyos.com or call 1-855-CAMZYOS. Actor portrayal.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
It feels like every day there's something in the headlines that could make you wonder to yourself, is now even a good time to retire?
So many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping people get to, through, and beyond retirement for over 28 years, and each week he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti Saturdays and Sundays at 6 a.m., 9 a.m., and 5 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at progressive.com.
Now back to the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
This is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
It is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Mike Opelka with you. My goodness, the day is moving very quickly. Thank you to everybody in the YouTube chat. I need to give you extra woots today for all the love and support for Gerald Posner. We have been friends for over 3.5 decades. And he is somebody that if you call him, if you have to call him, he will show up. If you're in that kind of situation, he's always been a good friend. He and his wife been good friends of ours forever and ever and ever. And his stance with Simon & Schuster shows you who he is, the kind of guy he is. He stands on principle. We're also talking about the press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, announcing she's leaving the White House at the end of the month. She's got 2 little ones. She's got the toddler and the newborn. So if you don't need to, why would you work? If you can be there to watch your kids grow up, I salute her for that. We were taking a vote in the YouTube chat for the worst press secretary. Currently, it's an ass kicking.
It's a Reagan Mondale landslide.
It is that's right. It is a Reagan Mondale election. Well done. Well done, Justin. KJP with 91% of the votes for the worst press secretary. One of you made a very interesting suggestion, James McGinley, in the YouTube chat, suggesting my old late friend Arlie Ermy would make a great press secretary. Gunny from Full Metal Jacket. Really just an all-around great American, a guy who had so much fun with life. I had the great fortune to go shooting with Arlie Ermy out in Vegas. We were out at this massive range, and I got to shoot his Glock He was the Glock spokesman. And something that you never got to hear about R. Lee Ermey and John McCain. R. Lee Ermey was trying to get John McCain to come over to his side to give the Marines a little more respect. McCain never wanted the Marines to kind of have their own respect. They were always kind of folded into the Navy. And R. Lee Ermey, the quintessential Marine, was at loggerheads with John McCain. And I was trying to get something done before both those guys passed away. What a loss. But yeah, R. Lee Ermey, a truly great American. Wonderful. Wonderful. And he could shoot the wings off a fly from 60 yards easily. Very good. With a Glock 40. He was an absolute character and a half. I miss those kind of people every day, and I'm lucky to have known them. We talked about this Rosie O'Donnell clip, and I think we got to try and make sure we get to everything we told you about. Rosie O'Donnell appearing on a podcast because she won't go away, trying to explain the they-them pronouns that the kids that are trans have. And I don't understand this. Is it that they're non-binary? Is it they don't want to be one gender? Is it they're just growing? Well, I think your kids are past puberty at this point, and they've been allowed to grow into this kind of mental illness. But this was Rosie O'Donnell explaining it.
Can you tell us where the title Common Knowledge comes from? Because I love this.
This is a true story. So she, they, and it's a they, them.
Yeah,
that's the pronouns that they choose,
also,
but it's
Rosie,
very hard, honey.
I know, and I love that you're constantly correcting in real time, like we all do. It's really beautiful,
and it really matters to them.
Yeah,
and I know it matters to them.
Yeah,
and so when they first told me that it was they them, I tried my best, but I kept saying she.
Yeah,
and so they wrote on a cardboard paper they. And then they would hold it up above their head every time I said she, like John Cusack and Say Anything with the boombox just staring at me, you know. And so I took her to my cousin's tattoo shop with the they in her handwriting. And I had it tattooed on my wrist so that I would never forget, that it would remind me. And I thought she'd be very touched, and she didn't give two She could not care less. And I just said she. I just did it again. In the they story, I messed it up. But, yeah.
Yeah, you're in the asylum and you're letting the inmates run it. This is an abdication of parental responsibility. That's really what it is. You might have had a chance with your kid if you had sat him down early and go, this is a phase, or gotten them counseling. But instead, you wanted to be their friend. You wanted to be her friend. And now what do you have? You have mutilated your own skin. You put a tattoo on your own skin with the word they because you're crazy. I know I'm not supposed to use the word crazy. I'm not. Speaking of crazy, that reminds me, over at MSNBC, which is now called MS Now, but I call it MS-13 now, because I really think they're in league with those people who want to destroy America, that gang MS-13. But over at MS whatever, we have Lawrence O'Donnell. Lawrence O'Donnell has issues. I think that's the nicest way to say it. Lawrence O'Donnell has been following Rachel Maddow forever and ever and ever, although she only works 1 day a week now, I think. She's only there 1 day a week. Lawrence O'Donnell went through a little bit of upsetness when he heard the story of Donald Trump sneaking through the Air Force One galley and going into the food truck to get onto the other plane. And he's kind of lost his brain over what he thinks is Donald Trump not being able to control the Secret Service. And I always remind you, when somebody sees something and makes a big issue of it, when they point it out, it's probably because they're dealing with that issue themselves. So Lawrence O'Donnell freaking out and saying and getting all giddy, saying that Donald Trump has lost control because he actually listened to the Secret Service. This kind of makes me say, wait, aren't you guys the ones who are saying that Trump doesn't listen to anybody? Aren't you the guys who are always saying that Donald Trump is too out of control, that he just does whatever the hell he wants? Well, here's the case where Trump listened to his advisors, listened to the security people, and then he did what they told him. But now that he's done it, you guys don't care. Let's run this thing.
When he was told that he not only could not fly on the Qatari jet that he illegally accepted as a gift from a dictator, but he could not fly on Air Force One. The Washington Post reports numerous people participated in the deception, some unwittingly, and journalists who thought they were traveling with the president aboard the Legacy Air Force One were not notified that he had changed aircraft or made aware of the extent of the threat on Air Force One, the U.S. officials said. The new Air Force One jet gifted by Qatar departed Turkey first early in the evening of July 8th. Trump then boarded the Legacy blue and white Air Force One at dusk, waving goodbye on camera to exit that plane without being seen by those uninvolved in the operation. Trump and several aides stepped aboard an airport catering truck, which was elevated plane side using hydraulics and positioned at a door on the opposite side of Air Force One's entrance, according to the U.S. official and other corroborating material. It's not clear how Trump moved from the C-32A to the Legacy Air Force One after landing, but he appeared before television cameras and descended external stairs from the Legacy Air Force One about 10:56 p.m. And so Donald Trump had no control at all of how he traveled away from that NATO summit. No control. In a plane he never wanted to fly in, moving on a catering truck from one plane to another to do that, because Donald Trump was not in control of that situation.
Boy, Lawrence O'Donnell, he is really suffering from TDS. You know, if Donald Trump hadn't done that, if Donald Trump had not gotten off Air Force One and sneaked over to the other jet, and that story had gotten out, all that you would have heard from the left side of the mainstream media was Trump won't listen to Secret Service. Trump's gone rogue. He will do whatever the hell he wants. But because he did that, they've lost their minds. I really think this guy's he's almost cracking. Maybe we'll see it. Why do I watch MSNBC? For stuff like that. A few of you checking in today. Let's grab a call. We're almost at the end of the show here. I can't believe we're this close. Let's go to Frank at Burlington. Hey, Frank. Welcome to Talk Radio 1210. What's up?
Oh, thanks. Hey, listen, it's so weird because I keep hearing that story about the decoy plane. And listen, I voted for Trump 3 times. But I'm going to be honest with you. If there was that serious of a threat, I'd be pretty pissed if I knew they kept me on that plane. Why didn't you just evacuate the whole plane? Like, you know, I just don't understand it would be worth putting this many people's lives at risk. It makes no sense to me. And I know it's kind of funny to people, but it would have been funny if that plane got blown.
No, it would. You're absolutely right, and that's kind of the interesting discussion we had with Rich Kolko earlier. We had a security expert on who's a former FBI agent who said that if you know there's a credible threat, you have a duty to inform. And I'm like you. I was stunned to hear this. But look, nothing happened, so we can say, okay, nothing happened. But you're right. You can think there would have been probably 30 or 40 people who would have lost their lives, in addition to Rubio and Scott Bessent and Stephen Miller on the decoy plane. And there are some that say there's no way they risk losing the Secretary of State if they believe a strike is that imminent. So you can make the argument, but I get it, Frank. I think you make a really good point there. I might have been a little offended at first, but then again, Rubio hasn't come out and said anything. He wasn't really ticked off about it. So
yeah,
maybe.
well, maybe he wasn't aware. I'm not sure.
Oh, you know he was
I just,
aware. He would have known, because every time Trump gets up on Air Force One to go talk to the press, when they walk from the president's quarters to the media, Rubio knew. He was told. So he must have made the assessment that it wasn't that bad. But still, I get it. And Kolko made a really good point. You have a duty to inform if there's a credible threat. So maybe it wasn't that credible a threat, or we had some doubts. Very interesting.
Right. Or either that or the Secret Service screwed up again. You just never know now. So, but anyway, thanks, Mike.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you being there. Wow, I can't believe it's time for me to get out of here. We've had a blast today. So many of you weighing in today. So many good calls, so many good comments in the YouTube chat. I'll be back tomorrow. We're 3 to 7 tomorrow. We're 3 to 7 on Friday. Lauren Fix is going to join us from the very snooty concourse event out at Pebble Beach, and she's going to make me drool on camera, so you can enjoy that. Till next time, it's Mike Opelka saying thank you, Matt DeSantis. Thank you, Justin. Thank you to everybody listening. Enjoy every sandwich, and testudo, my friends. Testudo.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in